Hello, welcome, and insert other greetings here, everybody, to the semifinals of the SpeedGaming Live 2019 Zelda 1 Randomizer Tournament.
Yes, absolutely. I'm Adirondack Rick, being joined by Elsoa999, and we have a semifinal match between jkoper and fcoughlin. Let's talk about how these runners got here really fast and will be almost set and ready to go for this race.
So, Fred and I faced off yesterday in round 1, and he took the victory 2-0 over myself. And at the same time, jkoper was facing off against August the 40th and took the victory against August 40th to bring them here.
And so there we are here in the semifinal. In the other group of the semifinals, it was between Jam and Crimson Avix, and Jam will be moving on to the the finals. So we know one half of this bracket. It is going to be Jam versus whoever wins this race. It's going to be a lot of fun. These runners set and ready to go. We're going to go over these flags because if you've been watching the Z1R tournament that has been going on for the last couple of months, this is a little bit different, and we'll go through a lot of those changes. But one important thing, Cave Shuffle is on.
Absolutely. So now your overworld routing is less about which caves do you want to hit and more about which areas do you want to check given the resources you have, what items are available, what levels you have seen, and what remaining caves are still out there, such as the bonus caves, the White Sword Cave, and so on.
Absolutely. So we'll see what ends up happening. It is kind of familiar of what we've seen of past tournaments. So these runners all set and ready to go. I think we're almost set and ready to go for the race. Just taking care of a couple of last-minute things.
Now, we do also have the full start shuffle in effect, so the runners can start on any screen in the game. So this is the part where we predict what the start screen is going to be.
This tournament has been really evil. I'm going to say Death Mountain near level 9.
You know what? I agree with you. I'd like to see that as well. But which quest level 9?
I was going to say first quest, but we'll make it a little nice.
Third quest.
Third quest, perfect.
Yes. Which would be like near the vanilla grave arbos. Some-ish.
We'll just put it in the Lost Woods.
All right, that works.
But which one is it? Is it the up, left, down, left?
Let's go with...
Right?
Right.
Perfect.
Or maybe the game will be really nice and give us a waterfall start.
Absolutely.
What you do see is both runners are using different sprites besides the Link sprite. jkoper is running with the Trogdor sprite, and Fred is using the Gibdo sprite. Crucially, that does mean both of them will be rescuing Ganon at the end of the game and fighting against Zelda instead of the other way around.
Correct, and we now see Triforces popped up on here. So I think these runners are ready to go. What do you think that is code beats? What do you think the bow and the red ring and those two items on the code mean?
Well, I think it means that the red ring is going to be compass blocked in a dungeon. And the bow is going to be somewhere. Yeah, that works.
Okay, we're near the waterfall. 2 screens away. Gibdos on the overworld.
And Wizrobes.
More Gibdos. Wizrobes on the overworld. Fred finding a candle. And candle may or may not be required, but more likely than not, it is required in this set. And oh, look, we got the firing squad. I've always said, by the way, and we see jkoper picking up a candle. That's another difference from what we see in the tournament flags that are going on the main tournament, is that we have the candle as part of the arsenal for the take any's. Now,
go ahead.
Go ahead. You see a hint shop.
So we have community hints in effect here, which means that the hints are all just going to be like the little random sayings or jokes that we've seen. Most importantly, not only is the book in level 10, the large secret is 113, which will give the runners quite a few options as far as money is concerned in this seed. They want to buy a blue ring, bomb upgrades, maybe even a magic shield on the off chance that they feel like they need it for the Lionels in the dungeons.
Or they may need it in order to get to a level because you got Wizrobes firing at you at all directions.
It's also a fair point.
By the way, we see the small secret is 5 rupees. The large secret at 113 rupees is a big help. And jkoper suffering a death, and we see a little bit of reaction from him at this point. And I love the fact that we have Wizrobes and Gorillas on the same screen as we find our first level. It is level 3 for Fred.
Level 3 is one of those levels that it's in the same group as 1 through 4 that it's generally better than not to dig early because it tends to be smaller. But without a sword, he's not going to be able to go much past Agliok.
He did pick up some bombs, which was a nice find here for Fred, so he might be able to do a few bomb walls. We are doing shapes in these dungeons. We see an early Triforce, so Fred's a dead ringer to pick up that Triforce on his first way in. Also, being a Darknut dungeon means those bombs are going to go down really, really fast. So, what is the HP shuffle in this race?
So it is ±2 for enemies, and I believe bosses are at their vanilla health.
So those red Darknuts, they could be destroyed in maybe 1 bomb, but maybe 2 bombs. You don't know. We don't know what they're going to be. They're somewhere between 2 and 6. So Fred didn't want to take a chance of trying to score a hit against that red Darknuts. We find the second of the large secrets already.
Fred is quite within blue ring purchase territory here, as he also finds another bonus cave.
Oh, Bo is underneath the Armos.
That's an extremely important item, as you will need that to kill Ganon with the silver arrows, but you may also need it to kill Gomas in dungeons to get your Triforce pieces or required items to get into 9, including the silver arrows.
And as we've had in past things, the white sword item is the Bloomerang.
So, there's a bit of a debate as to whether the blue boomerang, which is the magical boomerang, or the wooden boomerang, which is the regular one, is better. I am of the opinion that whichever boomerang you find first is the correct one to pick up, especially if you don't have a permanent weapon, which neither runner does right now.
Both of these runners are taking a ride on the Redding, and they're going to go ahead and take the any roads around the Hyrule. jkoper trying to save himself from perhaps a Wizrobe hit. We did see what the ladder item was. It was the red candle. As jkoper is going to save that discovery right now, as Fred is taking travel here through the northeast corner, heading into the cave. Only 1 level seen so far, but Fred does find out where the blue ring purchase is. It is a vanilla 250 rupees.
Now, you've seen that the shop prices are shuffled. They can be shuffled up to plus or minus 20 of their original cost. However, the blue ring is a unique case in that plus 20 would put it over 255. If the game rolls a value for that blue ring over 255, it defaults it back to 250.
Yeah, and that is obviously a better chance of getting 250 than you would see under most circumstances. So if Fred finds another of the 25 rupee small secret or the mid secrets here, he may choose to go purchase that, and he's not opting to pick up that rupee purchase. Nope, he is now. I think I have a stronger value in the blue ring purchase when you know that you have Gorillas and Wizrobes on the overworld, because that is 2 of the dangerous enemies that you're going to take out of enemies or out of dungeons, because they throw things at you.
Yes, and they make it harder to do the screen scroll that we've seen the runners do a couple of times, where you go from one side of the screen to the other. The Wizrobes will just phase through to the other side of the screen like it's nothing.
Yeah, Wizrobes and Pulse Voice are great at screen scrolling. A whole lot better than even the best of the vanilla runners, as we find level 2.
And on the note of the Gorillas, their boomerangs, normally when you do the right to left screen scrolls, you have a little bit of immunity from projectiles because they despawn before they can hit you. Not the Gorillas boomerangs. They can hit you on any edge of the screen, and it's a 4-heart magical boomerang for Fred.
And it's interesting the fact that he's picked that up, but of course you can kill some enemies with it if they do roll 0 HP and they are killable by such a stun, then you can kill them. Obviously it doesn't work against Darknuts, it doesn't work against Wizrobes. That would really be nice if you could Wizrobe or boomerang a Wizrobe.
Oh yes. The other option it gives Fred is because he has that candle, he can set up a guaranteed 3 hits with that candle on any enemy that is stunned by the boomerang.
As we see Fred slowly making his money go up to what is now 229 rupees. He's screen scrolling over towards the coast area, and that's because he's going to take this take any. As jkoper finally finishes off that room.
Does receive a key for his efforts, but he may find he has a little bit of trouble going further in this heavily Darknut heavy dungeon without any bombs or a sword or wand.
And that's interesting here. We are getting used to the idea of having that sword right at the very start of a dungeon because of what we've had in that current main tournament here, where the sword at the vanilla start location, and you start at that vanilla location. But here, it can be in any open cave in Hyrule.
And on top of that, because it can be in any open cave, there are a couple of caves that are generally difficult to route in, namely the cave at the top of Death Mountain, the far southwest corner, and vanilla level 1 can be difficult depending on where you start.
Oh, absolutely. And it also depends on what enemies are on that screen right before level 1, because if it is a Wizrobe and Guria set, guess what? If you're getting flung at by boomerangs and Wizrobe beams, you're not making it too close to that spot.
Yeah, especially if the ladder decides to be an issue.
Absolutely. Fred getting up to 243 rupees at this point, 250 for the blue ring.
jkoper does have enough money to buy a key if he so chooses, although it looks like he's going to hold off for the moment.
Another difference that we should point out is the fact that the shops, they're shuffled. So that the blue ring is not going to be in the rare shop. It's not going to be in the... it may not be in the rare shop. It may be in one of the more common shops.
It's also very possible for your bombs to be in the rare shop under a bomb spot, to where you have to rely on the RNG in the game to get your first set of bombs. And Fred will pick up the wooden arrows, which actually does give him access to a permanent weapon. It does not work on the Darknuts and the Wizrobes, but it deals white sword levels of damage to every other enemy. And it kills Pole's Voice in 1 hit.
Yeah, and I think that is the most important thing here, and we're probably going to see some Pole's Voice as we start making our way through more of the dungeons, as jkoper gets his way into level 3. So, in the room to the north is where the Triforce is. There's not a lot we can do here, but jkoper, if he does do the pirouette trick to open up that key door, he will have a pack of bombs finally.
Mm-hmm. It is good to see the runners, generally speaking, get their bombs within the first 10 minutes of the run, as once you get that first pack, you can immediately start to just force more bombs using the forced drop and continuous kill count mechanic.
Yep. If you can get yourself up to that 10 count here, you can kind of help yourself to get more and more bombs. jkoper definitely a specialist in the swordless category of this game. So if that foot sword is buried deep and he decides to start using his bombs to help build up an arsenal, then he's going to be putting himself in a very good position here against Fred.
That's assuming the white sword isn't just like free in level 1 or something, which it could very well be.
And you do put a good point there, but level 1 could very well be behind a bomb spot at this point. Ooh, you get all the enemies on this screen. Pole's Voice did come out to the overworld, so we will not see them in the side of the dungeons.
That potentially slightly devalues the arrow purchase. It's still a very good purchase to make, especially with no other weaponry, but you do lose out on some of the one-hit kill on Pole's Voice factor to make clearing rooms that much quicker.
Absolutely. Also to point out here, because this is the first tournament match from SGLive that we are displaying here or broadcasting, this is a best-of-3 format. So the winners of this match here, or the winner here, has to win 2 out of 3 to face off against Jam in the finals. It is a single elimination tournament. And second quest staircases, or second quest rooms, are in effect. Fred kills a Goma, gets himself a recorder.
That arrow purchase now coming up huge for Fred.
Absolutely. Now, the recorder only gets you one location because we're dealing with a first quest overworld.
But,
however,
I was going to say, but remember, their start screen is up in that waterfall
Yep.
area. They can recorder the 3 immediately and
Absolutely.
just get right out of there.
and that's the big thing that I was going to mention there is the fact that it is going to be a major transportation tool.
jkoper has found a level 6. Generally one of the largest dungeons in Shapes, rivaled really by level 8. Level 6 has been known to get up to 40 plus rooms.
And in this case, you're hoping not to get full 40. By the way, just notice that jkoper is running with his heart beep not on. He's down to a half of a heart, so he's going to have to be careful as he makes his way through this room. And he comes on out, and we see ourselves some more staffos and more keys. Trying to see if we found any. Oh, there's our Lionels.
And potentially our staircase item, although jkoper does not have the arrow, so he will not be able to just go gunner on that room that Fred will be able to if he decides to go there, although he does get a bomb pack.
Fred opted to chase down a dark nut room with the blue dark nuts, and he found out there is nothing in that room of value. We see jkoper picking up a heart container here in level 6. As a reminder here, the heart container shuffle is not on, so it is the boss heart. All we're looking for is the staircase item here in this level 6.
The only time you will have to question if it's the boss heart is levels 1 and 2 because they have that floor drop and the...
Oh!
That's a nice roll on the blue Lionels.
Absolutely. He is going to pick up a pack of bombs to replenish his bombs for that usage right there, and because there was a drop in that room, we now know that that room was not a staircase as Fred finds level 5.
Although, if you know the Lionels go down to 1 blue bomb, it might have been tempting to go back into that triple bar room to see if there was a stair item in there, as it won't cost as many resources as you might have thought.
So jkoper making his way over towards the the Dead Woods, as we get the question of whether or not Ganon was one of us. What if Ganon was one of us? As we see ourselves with, oh, that's nice to find out that you can kill the ropes with the bloomerang. That is where picking up that bloomerang is a good decision.
Absolutely. jkoper's going to pick up the arrows.
And he is going to be very happy to do so when he gets to level 8.
Oh, yes. It looks like he might pick up the meat here.
Yep, just in case. Oh, another Goma. Wow, the seed is throwing Gomas at us. Nice presence of mind to pick up the arrows at this point. It seems like this is going to be paying off big dividends.
So here's what we see on jkoper's side. One is that you can see how the meat attracts certain enemies. I believe it's only the gorillas and the moblins towards it. But he's also doing that to be able to get that multi-kill and potentially get himself... He was probably looking for hearts there.
Very good point. And he's also going to be starting to use that as a trick in order to pull up his 10 count and force some bombs. As Fred is going to make his way over towards the Grave Armas here. Finds out that it is going to be a community hint shop that is absolutely of no value to him at this point. Trying to dodge the Wizrobe beams. As jkoper finds another shop and Fred finds another take any. So we knew that the bloomerang was valued at 4 hearts in this seed. Fred's picking up extra hearts in case we have a case of the magical sword coming into play.
And it's not impossible that a runner's first sword can be that magical sword, depending on how tough the wood sword is to get to, how many hearts they get early, and where the magical sword is.
So level 4 has been found for Fred. It is in the Death Mountain transitional square as the Vyers have rolled -2 HP.
That is probably some of the best news the runners could hope to see here, as jkoper picks up a potion out of a bonus cave. Now, the Vyers are very interesting. Normally, when you kill them with a weapon that doesn't deal their entire health pool in one hit, they will split into 2 keys, and then you have to kill those keys and they will infinitely respawn. If the Vires roll high, that is above 4 hit points, the game no longer considers them to be bomb droppers for the purposes of placing enemies in dungeons.
Yep, and they're placed together with the Dark Nut, so it doesn't really matter. It now just means we have an extra bomb enemy, bomb source enemy in the dungeons. That also means that Fred maybe could try to tackle those fires in that room with the 3 Dark Nuts and hope that the fires turn out to be the priority enemy in that room.
Absolutely. jkoper has made his way into 8.
Yep, over here at the grave.
Looks like he is going to completely bail on it for now.
I think jkoper's in a position right now where he is down to just a limited amount of places where the wood sword can be, and he really would like to try to emphasize or kind of prioritize finding where this wood sword is. However, now he is heading... Oh, I see what he did. He went over towards the potion shop to see what was there before he made his way to 6, because those whiz robes, if they snipe him in the back, life isn't going to be happy for him.
Agreed. So he does take the up A here. I'm guessing what he's going to do is he's going to do all of those screens that are on East Death Mountain by Vanilla 9 and First Quest.
Yep.
And that open cave, because that may be where our sword is at this point.
I think it has to be at this point. I think it has to be in Vanilla, the spot to the west of level 9.
It's interesting that both of our runners are here at this point, though.
Yeah, I think at this point both runners are at that conclusion that the sword has to be over here. It is the last open spot that is going to be available to both of these runners, so therefore make your way over here, get your wood sword, and start to stab things instead of trying to dodge things around. And there it is. The wood sword pickup for jkoper. Fred is just around the corner as he picks up the 25 for a rupee seeker, and then he'll go ahead and pick up his wood sword.
And looking at our tracker, we may have missed a ladder pickup at some point. Nope, no ladder. So both runners now have weaponry. They have bow and arrows, they have sword. They are ready to go and tackle these dungeons that they've found. The question is, which order do you tackle them in?
Fred is heading to level 4.
There's generally 2 schools of thought. There is the do all of your smaller dungeons first, because you can clear them out more quickly, you can find your items, you can get everything you need to out of those dungeons. That's a level 9 find.
And you saw jkoper pause because he wanted to see whether or not he could hear the roar of Ganon as he was walking into that first square of level 9. So Fred is going to be tackling this Dark Knight room here. It's got him down to 4, so he's going to leave this room and reload it and try to see what other enemies we are in there as he tries to go through this level 4 a little bit later on. And he's going to tackle the bit greater wealth of rooms here as jkoper has popped into level 5.
And I'm looking at my notes here. We're currently only missing 2 dungeons at 20 minutes in.
I think we're missing 3. Did we find level 7?
We did not find level 7.
We didn't find 1 or 2 either.
I thought we saw 2.
Did we see level 2?
I want to say we saw jkoper go into level 2.
Oh, we did. Yes, never mind. I did have that about down in my notes. As jkoper pulls out the raft in level 5.
The raft is an item that you never want to see, but also an item you'll never say no to. Because
absolutely. Especially when you are still looking for dungeons.
Now, once you found all your dungeons, all right, you might say skip the raft, take the time save on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if you've noticed where everything else is going to be. And there's the ladder pickup for Fred, so we did not miss the ladder discovery earlier. We now know that it is inside of level 4 for Fred.
jkoper takes out the Goma in level 5 to find the tea room.
And I am surprised that Fred did not try to take out this room, because there could be the enemy drop here right in the middle of that T, and it is just a key.
It may have been a case of simply thinking, okay, I don't have a weapon. For all he knew, there was going to be something like a Gleeok on the other end of that. As I believe the Gomas, Gleeoks, and Manhandlas all share a boss set.
And also bear in mind here that at the time that Fred had that, he had the arrows, but he may have been thinking about other purchases and didn't want to spend the rupees when he may have been wanting to use them towards something else, especially if it was going to be a nasty setup to try to get to where the wood sword turn round up being. This is a nasty room for Fred to be locked into. You have the Vimo statues, you have Dark Nuts. Oh my.
And it looks like every single variety of Dark Nut has rolled high, as we saw definitely 2 bombs were needed for the red Dark Nuts. I don't recall if we've confirmed that the blue Dark Nuts also rolled high and require 3 bombs. Fred does get the lucky bomb drop, though.
And he does finish off that blue Dark Nut, and there is no drop in that room. That's always unsatisfactory. You want to find a drop when you put through the effort to clear out a room like that.
Oh, absolutely. Especially given that Fred's already seen the dungeon item. He's just looking for that Triforce so he can mosey on out.
Yeah. He doesn't want to spend a whole lot of time inside of this level 4. This is a nasty level 4 in the sense that you end up having to clear out the enemies and push the block as we see the map to level 5, and that's a duck.
That is a duck.
Moblin's in level 5, by the way.
That's actually a good sign for the runners, just from the standpoint of...
There's the Triforce in 5.
No ladder block necessary. jkoper will be the first runner to pick up a second Triforce piece.
And a clock here for Fred was a very nice find, as jkoper is done with level number 5. So 2 Triforces to 1 on this first match of this best of 3 semifinals. Fred finally getting the map to this level 4. And what has he missed inside of this level 4 that he needs to figure out at this point? As jkoper goes into level 8.
Looks like on Fred's floor, there's a couple of rooms on the far left that he has not been in yet. Looks like that's where he's going to need to go.
Yep, I see it right there. There are 2 rooms to the south of this entrance.
And Fred did do a trick there that's similar-ish to the pirouette trick. If you enter a dungeon room and you open a door on any side, if you go back to the entrance of the dungeon without leaving the room, the door on the side that was opened, if there's a door there on the start screen, it will be opened.
Yeah, it's a very good trick to exploit when you are trying to figure out where to go in these levels, try to save some keys, save some bombs. It has definitely come into play for some runners as they've gained an advantage over a room that the other person never found, especially when it's a bomb hole as opposed to a key door.
Speaking of key doors, this may be a good time to go over the other trick you can do with key doors, known as the Kanana key. And the way that works is, if you have a room such as the one that Fred just cleared, where there's a shutter door in the room, if there's also a key door in said room, you can, on 0 keys, walk into the key door as the shutter door is opening, and you will pass right through the key door without spending a key. You can then walk back into the room you just came from, and that door will remain permanently unlocked. If you have keys when you attempt to do it, you will just use a key.
Well, that Zal is being very helpful to jkoper. It's telling him to call the Nintendo Hint Hotline. I don't know if that's going to be very beneficial for him on this run.
One way to find out. You can call the Nintendo Hotline.
Let me go ahead and pull out my phone. We'll see if whether or not we can do this. As we get the moon for the theme.
So jkoper's going to go back to level 3.
Yeah, we got the early Triforce. We didn't have a weapon at this point in time. He wants to find out what this item is in case it's something major.
And I like this choice to go ahead and check this now, given that he's seen a lot of the overworld at this point. Still some burn spots left in the forest, I believe. Still most of Death Mountain. But you're right here, and this is a relatively small dungeon. It will only have one item. But if this is something like a red ring, a white sword, a silver arrows, all of those would make this play worthwhile.
Even a power bracelet that maybe is unlocking one of the remaining 2 dungeons that we're still yet to see.
The magic key would also be an interesting... There's a lot of good items out there left.
Yes, there is. And we've already seen one, what would be considered a dud item by way of the magic boomerang, even though Fred has made that of use to him as jkoper gets sniped by the land mola before he's able to get into the door.
Not only does he get sniped,
he gets sniped when he loses a key.
Yep. There's a small delay between the key number going down and the door opening. If you get sniped during that delay, you lose the key and have to go back.
Bombs are worth 3 rupees.
He probably wishes that shop was a little more centrally located to anything.
Yep.
But that is an absolutely beautiful shop to find.
Absolutely. As Fred does pull out his recorder, he is heading on over towards southeast of level 1 here, where we had level 3 earlier on. He's not going to go back in, and jkoper saying no to level 3 after losing that key. And there's our magical sword underneath the forest potion shop right west of level 2. We can't pull it up just yet. We need to have 10 to 14 hearts in order to do that. Same rule applies in any randomizer flag under both of these randomizer flags.
Now, let's be realistic here. It seems like, and this may be confirmation bias, but it seems like it's always 14 or 13.
Unless it's 10. And the seed wants to be very, very nice. We're putting Wizrobes and Gorillas on the overworld. That's a possibility, too.
It's kind of ironic looking at the statistical data that it's least likely to be vanilla. Even though they are all an equal chance of occurring.
Hi, level 1. You're out on the coast.
That's what we wanted to see. And a bait block, which may not be necessary. Coper's going to find out for us.
No room to the north. Not needed. This is the enemy set you want to see, and seeing the moblin there tells them that we have the easiest of the 3 enemy sets here as Fred makes his way into level 1.
But jkoper is key blocked from going south in that room.
And Fred's going to be the same way too. However, you can go left and then down, which means you will be able to get into the room to the that was to the south there by way of killing this room, or not killing this room, but just walking through the door. Level 1, level 2, level 3, and level 4 to a small extent is almost always connected. All the walls are connected to each other. You can bomb through if there is no wall that exists.
And interesting to note is that both runners could choose to Kananaki that door to the left to be able to get into that room to the left right now, because they...
And Fred setting it up. And there it is for Fred. That is the Triforce room, but he does pull off the Kananaki. Here is a potential of a staircase room here in this room for Fred.
But at the same time, jkoper, by not doing the Kananaki, he has found the any key and the second item.
Absolutely, and that second item is the white sword. And that is huge.
Absolutely. Now, I imagine Fred will find those in short order just because it's level 1. You're going to want to dig it out.
Absolutely, you're not gambling on level 1. Especially when we are still missing the silver arrows. We have not found all the dungeons yet. We still haven't found level 7. And level 7 could very well be underneath the power bracelet spot. And Fred hasn't seen the raft either. So for his good measure here, he wants to dig out both items inside of this level 1.
Plus, there are enough good items left out there that even if it isn't anything required, which is what we're going to see in this seed, there's enough value to be gained that it's still worth it.
Absolutely. I mean, if it's the red ring, then that's a beautiful find right there as jkoper checks the final of the coach spots, and it turns out to be another shop. So level 7 still yet to be found, as Fred takes the wrong turn in Albuquerque and has wound up finding himself dealing with some ropes. He has not seen the staircase item that jkoper has seen. But this is a nasty screen. Fred gets the map.
jkoper accidentally soft locks himself trying to do that screen scroll. So
I don't know what that ink blot is here in level 1, but Fred picks up the white sword that will complete his arsenal here, and he will do an up and A, kill off those moblins, and claim his Triforce to get ready to head wherever Fred plans on heading. Now, because jkoper got himself locked up right there, that unfortunately means that he can't check the coast draft spot.
I mean, he can. It's just going to be a lot less convenient than it would have been for him to do it right then and there.
Absolutely.
So, I would put... I think at this point in the run, even though it is very close between the two runners, I think the advantage would lie slightly with jkoper just from having that Triforce out of level 5 as well as that raft.
Absolutely. And we'll see whether or not that raft is going to be needed a little bit later on. Fred ended up going into just a few rooms of that level 5 earlier, said no. Game 1 of this best of 3 semifinals of the SG Live. These runners are playing for a prize pool of over $1,400.
You know, that's not a bad payday.
Absolutely. These runners are guaranteed a payday, but who's going to get the bigger payday by making their way into the finals?
I'm going to vote Ganon.
Ganon?
Yeah, I think Ganon's actually going to get the biggest payday, because both of our runners are going to be rescuing Ganon.
That is a very good observation, Elsoa.
Zelda doesn't get the payday, though.
We'll get her a payday bar with those winnings.
That works.
Good. Fred making his way on over towards... I thought he was heading over towards the west. Now he's heading over towards the northeast corner.
I don't believe he's seen the...
No, he has not, because he hasn't seen level 6 yet, which is over here in the Lost Hills.
I think if you have bow, arrows, white sword, and ladder, I think Fred will actually... Well, he's found level 2.
Oh, that's where level 2 is. Never mind. My notes are incorrect. I've scratched them out and have put them to be correct at this point in time.
Now remember, when jkoper was here initially, he did not have a weapon. Fred has that white sword coming in, so I think it's pretty likely we're going to see him just go ahead and dig out the entirety of this level.
Yeah, he's going to have to be careful against these Dark Nuts at 1 heart damage. He is going to reload the room, at least in case he does take that death. We see the map for jkoper of level 4, and Fred finds a key in this level 2. He does not need it anymore. The nice thing about the bow, it is a long-range weapon, and we see Fred using that to good use here against that Lamola. It is also a segmented level 2, by way of seeing that staircase, because in shapes, that's the only reason you're going to see a staircase in level 2. The wand is in 2!
Fred will take now the advantage on the combat front.
And he's going to also grab that Triforce because there's nothing else in this level 2, as the Heart Shuffle being off means that's all he's going to find inside of this level 2 as jkoper picks up his ladder. So there's a interesting setup here now that jkoper doesn't have that wand. That's an offensive upgrade here for Fred. If he does the A and B trick there, he could now do magical sword damage. I was about to say Master Sword, which the other game's going based on. But magical sword damage to enemies.
And the other important note is, even though, yes, jkoper has that raft, he has not yet gone to check those raft spots to see if it's going to be required or not. If it is not required, then it's really not it's basically no harm, no foul that Fred doesn't have it yet.
Absolutely. There's level 6. It was just one screen west of the vanilla start.
And that only leaves level 7 at large for our runners. Although I don't believe Fred has seen level 9 yet.
He has not seen level 9 over at the Forgotten Spot, and I think that's the only level that he hasn't seen besides the community, both of these runners not seeing level 7. So the more that we have seen of this overworld, the more that we have to ask, what is blocking level 7? Is 7 at vanilla 7?
It could be. We still have not seen that in spite of the early recorder find. Well, early-ish.
Fred picking up the heart container here in this level 6, hoping to hunt down the staircase, hopefully trying to hunt down this Triforce. Remember, Fred came into this level 6 with a lot more than jkoper popped into this level 6 because jkoper did not have the ladder when he came in here. He didn't have a sword when he popped in here. And Fred comes in here with the white sword and the wand. In a second quest push block room, we find the staircase. Of course we find the staircase.
Well, why not? It's level 6. Level 6 tends to do that. There's something about level 6 and especially level 5. The first staircase you find, if it is an item, it's usually one of the items you don't want to see. Like, at this point would be red candle, wooden boomerang, book. Although they might want to see book in this flag set. Or it's a transport staircase.
We've already seen the red candle. That was the item that was up at the ladder spot.
Now, there is a reason the runners... What a bomb on those Dodongos for Fred.
Triple play!
Now, there is a reason the runners may want to see the book in this flag set. And that is that the book, under normal circumstances, it just makes your wand shoot fire. You tend to run into your own fire. It helps a little bit versus land molas, but outside of that, it doesn't have a ton of usage. However, in this particular flag set, the book has been given the ability to give you all of the maps for every single dungeon.
So it works as an atlas. A very good find if you can find it here. But knowing this game, it's going to be inside what level?
7.
I was going to say 9.
Nah, it's going to be in 7, but 7 will be like a 2-room. Here's your easy free Triforce, and 9 will just have wooden boomerang and red ring or something.
Hi, Patra.
Not a recommended roommate.
Which of these enemies is a recommended roommate?
The Wall Master. They just take you to the entrance of your house if you say hello to them.
Okay.
Just don't put your bed against a wall and you're good.
That's a good idea.
So, we now have...
I think level 7's an item blocked. I think the more that we've dug through this seed here, the more we're coming up to that conclusion as we get that reminder that we have Lionels here inside of this level 6. But with the wand, much easier to take care of. Fred pushes the block. It is not a pushable block.
That is the room that jkoper skipped after he found out that the Lionels would only take 1 bomb each, which high link those.
Yep, remember that Fred is playing as the Gibdos. The Gibdos will turn into Link sprites. That's been a cool addition to the game.
It absolutely has, and I want to say most of the enemies that are available in the game itself can be played as, like the Stalfos, the Gibdo, the Wishrobe, the Dark Nut. I don't believe there's a Pulse Voice sprite yet.
There's no Pulse Voice sprite, and I know there's a runner by the name of BTs that would really love to see that. There is also no Zal sprite. I don't think I've ever seen a Zal sprite.
You know, I don't think I have either. Although I feel like a Zal might be hard to tell which direction you're facing, like the Pulse Voice.
That is very true. Fred trying to tackle these rooms, trying to find out where the staircase item is going to be, and it looks like jkoper may be making his way. Well, he's going to first check the first of these RAF spots. We have yet to see these. Is a level 7 here? The answer is no.
Just a gambling den.
I don't like the odds of these gambling dens.
I don't either. I think it's rigged.
It is.
Although if you are going to opt to go for the gambling den, usually the middle...
Wooden boomerang in 6.
That's not what you want to see.
And we're getting our first check of Vanilla 7.
Vanilla 7 has... Not level 7.
I'm all out of bubblegum.
That is unfortunate, but we can fix that.
We certainly can.
So looking at what we have seen, there's still an item at large in level 8, and an item at large in level 3.
And I'm thinking at this point in time, level 7 is power bracelet blocked.
Well, there is still one raft spot left, and that is what jkoper is heading to now.
Oh, well, if it's not here, then I think it has to be power bracelet blocked.
It would just about have to be if it is not here.
I don't think there's anything else we haven't yet to see. Maybe the southwest corner. I don't know if jkoper had a bomb when he came down this way.
He did not, and it is not at the raft spot. So that raft out of 5 not going to be hurting Fred. He will just need to go back for the Triforce eventually.
And 7 is not there. That's just another of the arrow shops. So we are looking for a power bracelet now.
And based on the notes that I have, it is either going to be in level 3 or level 8.
Those are very good notes.
Now, I think of the two, it may be better to dig level 8 first, simply on the grounds that you have to go there anyway for the Triforce. Both runners already have their Triforce piece out of level 3. The motivation to go back there isn't as strong.
And you saw jkoper go through level 3 earlier, and he took that death as he ended up losing a key. So that could come into play too. That may put him further off going back to level 3, even though it is the smaller of the 2 dungeons.
Exactly. So it looks like we are having Fred heading back in the direction of level 8.
Yes, he is. And because he has yet to pick up the Triforce, he can't just quickly flute over to here. So that is a case of her having the flute may come into play here for Fred, as we see him back in the side of this. Level 8 has picked up the recorder just one room in. Where is this second item?
Perhaps past the slider block.
Yes, it could be. So under this flag set, we are going to see the second item underneath a staircase.
That is correct. Level 8 and level 9 are the only 2 dungeons to have 2 items in staircases, as Fred is now eligible to pick up that magical sword with that 10th heart.
Or at least for a chance at it. He's going to have a 20% chance of picking up that magical sword. But as you mentioned earlier, it may probably be one of those kind of seeds that says, hey guys, I'm not done trolling you. It's going to be a 14-heart magical sword.
And when you combine that with the fact that he already has the white sword, he doesn't have a whole lot of motivation to go back and check that.
Yeah. You're going back for 20% odds at this point in time, but maybe you might feel you need to, as so we see jkoper going back into level 2, as he had to pull out the Triforce out of here, and he also hasn't seen the item. But because now we know that he's under the hunt for a power bracelet, he's going to find that wand.
Which, that will even the combat back up, as Fred gets a map of level 8.
Worn out sneakers, all I can think of.
Let me see if I can do a quick room count here. 6, 12, 13, 17, 21, 25, 30 rooms-ish. Which puts it a little on the smaller side, actually.
Also does mean that when we find level 7, it's going to be a segmented level 7.
Absolutely.
Get those rooms over there on the left-hand side. But 7's going to be a small dungeon, too.
For those who are watching this and are unfamiliar with how we're able to kind of tell that level 7 is going to be segmented, in the Shapes algorithm, levels 1 through 6 share one 16x8 grid, and they often fit together like a jigsaw puzzle. Level 7 and 8 have their own individual 8x8 portion of a grid, so it's, unless you get block-like shapes for both levels, they're very often just inverses of each other. Fred finds the red ring.
So that means power bracelet is in 3.
Fred is not going to say no to the red ring.
Nobody's going to say no to a red ring.
He might say no to the fact that it was there, but he's not going to say no to picking it up.
So you needed to have some strong combat in order to pull out the red ring, or to pull out the red ring. And we may have another Goma block from getting over to the Triforce here in this level 8, based on how this level 8 is laid out. Fred takes care of the Goma, comes into this room. He's going to try to bomb to the north, and there we go. He can get into the Triforce room, as long as he's not getting pinballed away from the Dark Nuts. And there's his Triforce piece. Fred has pulled out 5 Triforce pieces. jkoper has now pulled out his 5th as well. Simultaneous Triforce grabs for jkoper and Fred here in game number 1 of this best of 3 semifinal series.
Now here's where this gets interesting for Fred. He's probably going to dig 5 first before 3, simply because he hasn't gotten the Triforce out of it. Which, while we know it's not necessarily the correct play to make, we also know that the raft seemed to be pretty early in level 5, so it's not going to cost him too much time.
Yeah, and 5 was just around the corner here from level 8, so he had to.
And looks like jkoper's going to go dig level 3. This will give him the chance to make a breakaway on the seed, but if he does that, do you think he digs the red ring out of level 8 at that point?
I think he finds out that the Triforce is where it is in level 8 and heads right straight for it and doesn't deal with that Patra.
And if that's the case, that would make a defense disparity going into 9, which, if 9 has a lot of forced combat, that could be a key factor. Even though
yeah, that's 100% correct here. And as I take a look at some of the notes here, we had Dark Nuts here in level 8. I'm just trying to take a quick note here. I've only seen 1 dungeon with Lionel so far. If level 7 is not Lionel's, that puts him in level 8 guaranteed, or rather level 9 guaranteed, as there is our power bracelet pickup for jkoper. Now, the next part of the question is, where is level 7? It's in one of 4 possible spots.
I'm going to say by start.
Let's see what jkoper thinks.
Looks like he's thinking...
Well, this is the easiest one to get to, so he's going to check the Grave Armos, or the Grave push block here. Is this level 7? No. He ends up picking up a mid-secret here to top him at 255 rupees. There's Fred finding where the Triforce is.
He's still
he has not. Yeah, he hasn't pulled out the raft yet.
Now, also of note here, Silvers have a 66% chance of being in level 9 right now. Because they either have to... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, we're going to be here for a while, aren't we?
Probably.
There's level 7. Lost Hills Power Bracelet.
With that, all of our levels have been found in this seed.
Oh, early Triforce in 7.
I fully believe that jkoper is going to bail here.
Yeah. He's got the recorder at this point.
Yeah.
Yep, there's a recorder pullout for him. He is bailing. And Fred picks up the Triforce out of level 5. And seeing the Staffos inside of that level, I think that was a Moblin dungeon, but I'm not 100% certain on that at this point.
Yeah, we saw, what, 3 rooms of it?
I didn't see enough of that level 7. It was just blink and you miss it. And here he picks up the Triforce.
Oh, yeah. Now... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, Fred's back in level 5. He still needs to pull out that raft.
And I'm going to guess he will check the raft spots before he goes dig 3 for the power bracelet.
Well, the good news here is at least one of the raft spots is just around the corner from where he needs to go in level 3, and there is the raft pickup for Fred. He's out of here.
Looks like he's going to take a save and continue about his merry business.
Now, the big thing here for Fred is if the raft does not lead into the power or the lead to level 7, I think he only has level 3 still to dig. So he will at that point know that level 3 is the answer.
Also bear in mind, Fred has not yet seen level 9, although he's going to in about 30 seconds here, ish.
Add an extra 10 now for missed screen scroll. There we go.
Assuming the blue wizards don't say hello heavily.
And make him miss his bomb.
That's
which
also fair.
thankfully he got the bomb off at the right spot. And Fred does find out where level 9 is, does get his bomb back for now, so he knows when he does have to go back into level 9 where it is. And he's gonna flute his way. Where is he going? There's the flute to 3. Is he going back to 3? No, he's gonna go ahead and check for now. I think at this point he might just think about maybe checking one raft location and fluting back to 3.
Yeah.
Maybe.
The coast location is kind of a pain to get to because there's no dungeons near it, there's no any roads near it. You don't have the access to it that you would like.
Yeah, the closest dungeon we had to level 3, or rather to the coast raft spot, turned out to be, what was it?
Level 2.
Level 2. Yeah. So Fred pulls out his recorder. No, he doesn't. He goes to his wand. Is he just going to go screen scroll his way over towards the coast raft location, or is he going to go straight to 3? I would have to judge by the fact that he's not fluting to 3. He's going to go check the coast raft just by walking there. Or Fred may be thinking about a potion shop. That may be a thing of a decision for him at this point, but he's now popping into level 3 as jkoper here in level 6 is about to discover the wooden boomerang. He's going to say no at this stage in the run. So here's the thing. Fred has a little bit of an explorational advantage here by the fact that he's gotten the Triforce out of 6, which is the largest dungeon. Plus, he's got the Triforce out of level 8. jkoper's still got to go into level 8 after this. And even though it's marked incorrectly there, he's still got to go into... He's got to get... Never mind, he did pull out the Triforce in level 7. So he's got that, but level 7, only just a few rooms.
And most importantly, we know that it's a 66% chance that Silver's 9. As far as jkoper's concerned right now, it's a 50% chance.
Yep, now that he saw that wooden boomerang here in level 6... There's the wand pickup or the Triforce pickup for jkoper. He uses his wand to get to that point. He is now up to 7 Triforces, 8 to get into level 9. Brad is going to check some of these power bracelet spots. I wouldn't be surprised if he maybe visits the ferry. Or not. He's got Red Ring. He doesn't care.
Yeah, he's got enough health.
Yeah.
I think Fred wants to see a... Actually, I think both of these runners really want to see a bomb upgrade more than anything else right now.
Yeah, we haven't seen a bomb upgrade, and we're not going to see it in level 9 either.
They're probably both in 7.
Yeah. Or they're both in level 8 to the right of where we found the paths of the Triforce.
Possible. So this decision right here is going to be crucial for jkoper. If he decides to dig this item out to give him the best possible odds going into 9... he will be rewarded with the red ring, which, while not what he's looking for, he won't say no to.
Yeah, and that's going to put him on even terms with Fred as far as defense is concerned. And at this point, well, there's the bomb upgrade right there. It's a full 125 rupees, but it is a +6, which is the maximum.
So, technically still a better deal per bomb capacity than vanilla.
It just sucks to the fact there's 125 rupees, but jkoper had the rupees for. He will take the transport staircase, which gives me to believe that he may kill that Patra.
Now, also bear in mind that because jkoper already has a potion, he doesn't really have anything else he needs to spend money on in this seed.
Yeah, so if he finds the other bomb upgrade, then that's perfect for him as Fred pops into level 7. So here's the big question at this point. Where are the silvers? Are they in level 7? Are they in level 9?
I'm gonna vote Meyer. Wait, wrong game. Hi, Patra. Now, Fred is doing a little bit more exploration of this level 7, so...
Yeah, he didn't go to the room in the top right corner where the Triforce turned out to be.
If nothing else, we may get knowledge of what enemy set is going to be in level 9.
And it's Lionel, so there's no guarantee.
Now, Fred just picked up the heart container. If this is the item room, that will actually be it. It is not.
Of course it's not. First staircase in level 7, why would it be the item?
First staircase in a segmented 7 to boot.
Oh, that's true, because that means there's going to be two different pairs of staircases. Staphos became the communal enemy, by the way, so it's actually not a segmented 7x1, a little tiny room under the R.
That's actually good news for Fred, though.
Yeah, that means the next staircase he finds is going to be the item.
You know, if the silvers are here in level 7, that becomes the breakaway moment for this seed that's gonna really cause the runners to be far apart, because at this point they're effectively even.
Oh wait, is this where he came out of the staircase, or?
Yes.
It is, okay. That's a disgusting staircase.
jkoper is back in the transport stair in level 8. He's gonna try to bomb south here, and cannot.
Not sure what Fred is killing, or maybe he's just trying to find out where the Triforce is, because there still could be a room trap as far as he knows.
That is correct. Because he hasn't seen the Triforce yet, he could be looking for that. Could be looking for Compass, too.
Yep, that's right.
You can go all the way up the spine of 7.
You may have to go the long way around, but you can do it.
Assuming there's no blocks, which there could be.
Well, there's 4 blocks in this room.
Technically, yes. Those are blocks.
Absolutely.
And this is where the lack of red ring is starting to hurt jkoper a little bit.
Ooh, death, and here's a Goma. It's a push block. This is our item.
Is it?
It's the heart container. The silvers are in 9.
But Fred now knows that.
Yep.
jkoper does not. He'll likely gamble 9 anyway, so the news won't hurt him.
And guess what? Guess what I said about maybe 10 minutes ago when you were mentioning it? Book is a 9.
Yeah, that kind of figures.
So that Atlas, not going to be beneficial here in game number 1.
You know what? I'm going to call it right now. The book is in the room with a map.
Of course it will be.
Yes. Or in Zelda's room. Wait, no.
No, that was the compass.
Yep, that's right. The kidnapped guards the compass.
Because why not?
I mean, who better to guard it?
Yeah.
If Ganon doesn't want you to find Zelda, put the compass in Zelda's room.
Exactly.
The logic of Zelda makes a lot of sense.
When you think about it.
Yeah.
You just have to actually do a little bit of thought process.
Yeah. You know, I heard somebody once say the reason the blue candle only works once per screen is it burns hotter, so it runs out faster.
I've never heard that theory.
Yes, it's an interesting one, given that generally blue flames are hotter than red flames.
What's going through these runners' minds at this point? jkoper's been inside of this level 8 for a lot of time, as Fred finds the other bomb upgrade inside of level 7.
I think what's going through Fred's mind is, I've done a 100% of this seed up to this point. 1, how have I not seen the Triforce in level 7 yet? 2, jkoper's probably on level 9. Meanwhile, jkoper's thinking, 1, it's an hour in. Fred may be a 9, may not be, but he still has that item in 7 rolling around in the back of his head.
Absolutely. And this is this is what these runs can definitely come down to. As Fred is about to get into the room that has the Triforce, and of course the compass is right in the room next to it. So there you go.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That totally makes a whole lot of sense at this point in time. So here's the Patra, and it does look like jkoper is going to go up against this Patra, but he's down to a half of a heart, so he's going to have to be very, very careful with this Patra. And I don't like the fact that he's moving to the left, but he does take out the Master Eye, and that's a beautiful Patra fight for jkoper, and he's going to get rewarded by getting his defense added up.
And with that, he will now have the knowledge that, in his view, it's a 66% chance the silvers are in level 9.
And
he's got it like a key sniped.
And he's going to make that gamble. I mean, at least if he got key snipe, he knows that the red ring is there, and he doesn't have to deal with that Patra again, and he's got to walk that way to get to the Triforce anyway. He's getting that red ring in that second trip in.
Oh, absolutely. And, yeah, if your choices are gamble on a 2-room 7 or go dig out and dig out 9, which you have to look at anyway. Speaking of looking at 9 anyway, we are in 9.
Yeah, so Fred is inside of level 9. We don't have his audio at this point. We're running on jkoper's audio. So what Fred is looking for is the sound of the roar of Ganon, which will signal that Ganon is one room around him. He's looking for the shutter door that doesn't open, but more importantly, he is also looking for the silver arrows. He knows that they are here in level 9. It could be in this room. It could be with the Goma.
Goma block silver arrows would be appropriate.
I mean, it doesn't really make much of a difference here. Both runners had the wood arrows at a relatively early time. Fred takes care of the Goma, and no, it is just a transport staircase. There are 6 pairs of staircases in level 9 of that nature.
But this is where tracking your 9s accurately makes all of the difference.
And jkoper is in level 9 as well. Does he take a different trip than Fred? He's gonna start off the same direction as Fred does.
And we currently have about a 2-minute-ish difference between the 2 runners going into level 9.
So jkoper going through this level 9.
Fred finds a stair room, potentially. There's never a guarantee in level 9 that any given push block room can be a stair room. So you just check all of them.
Yeah, this one does turn out to push. He does go inside, and he finds a second pair of staircases here, as he's going to go ahead and invoke what we consider the Redbird grad rule of checking both ends of the staircase to kind of make sure and eliminate your possibilities.
Absolutely. Plus, for all we know, you might have to go through you might have had to go through that staircase to get into this staircase to get the silver arrows if they're in this staircase, and they are not.
But it could be like a traditional level 9 where you have to go like through 3 different staircases in order to get to your silver arrows.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's one of the things that can definitely happen inside one of these randomizers, as Fred is just trying to make his way around. Thankfully, with the red ring, both runners on equal defense, although Fred has a whole lot more hearts than jkoper does. And don't forget, jkoper is running on that 66 gamble. What if he finds the book first?
If he finds the book first, he knows he's going to have the map of 7 available. If he has not found Ganon and Zelda, he will definitely stay. But if he finds Ganon and Zelda and then the book, it would be very tempting to leave 9 and go check level 7, depending on how much you've explored. If you only have a couple rooms left, you stay at 9.
These runners are very, very close to each other. Just about maybe a minute behind each other as far as where they're exploring. In fact, they're in the same room together right at this very moment. But Fred with a little more exploration as he checked around all the corners around that room with the Lionels.
Thankfully, the Leave Your Life for Keys room is keys, and the magic key takes care of that for us.
And he does go to the room to the right. We find ourselves the worst boss ever in this game, the Rupee boss. It takes so much effort to kill him, just to find out that that is not a push block staircase. 104-15, both of these runners, they have got to be wondering where the other runner is going to be. Where is going to be the ceremonial hand raise to signal that this seed is done?
And something to make note of is every decision that's been made in the seed up to this point, every decision the runners are currently making, is all situational. So Fred will stay in 9 no matter what, because he knows the item in level 7 is the heart container. And that's where the question of will jkoper leave 9 should he find the book, Zelda, and Ganon comes in.
Absolutely. And if he does end up leaving level 9, that gives Fred a little more time to maneuver through this level 9, find out where all the important things are, find out where Ganon is, find out where Zelda is. We haven't seen where either are, although, I was just going to say, is that going to be one of those old men rooms where the shutter door does not open up, and that's a guarantee where Zelda is? It still could be her, but it's not, but it is the compass.
So Fred now has the position of Zelda on the map. We still have not heard the roar of Ganon yet. And outside of that initial blitz of stairs, we haven't seen that many more.
Yeah, but I think we are still at 3 stair sets, which means there's still 3 more sets of stairs in this level 9. This is a room I don't think Fred has seen yet as jkoper pops into the staircase, and it is the book!
Ooh. Now that whole thought process of if jkoper finds Zelda, which I actually think he's adjacent to.
I think this is the room right here. This shutter door is not going to open up. He is going to find out where Zelda, exactly the path to get to her, as Fred is going to deal with a Patra. jkoper thinking about his options at this point in time. Does he stay in level 9? He's seen one item. He's found out one piece of the puzzle. Fred dispatches at the Patra. That is a staircase. Staircase set number 4.
So with staircase set number 4 found, and with one item found, now it gets very, very interesting.
And for all we know, the silver arrows could just very well have been one room away from that start there if you turned left as opposed to heading to the right or heading north.
Oh, absolutely. That jkoper now finds the compass after he's found Zelda, because that's when you find it. Fred finds Zelda's room.
Unoccupado.
Yes, Zelda's not in there. Zelda learned how to walk, but she just couldn't make it all the way out the door.
Yeah, he trapped her again when he found she was trying to leave.
Now, there's a couple other resource concerns that both runners might have to keep in mind. One is bombs, because even coming in with 14 bombs, 9 can drain your bombs faster than you can blink. And health, because even though you only need a half heart to beat the game, Fred has that little bit of extra buffer, and they're in the same room.
They are in the same room. They pop in there, and it's staircase set number 5.
Now, there's a very, very small chance, but technically a non-zero chance that 9 is segmented by one room. If 9 is segmented by one room, there's an extra set of stairs to keep in mind.
I was about to say, if that is the case, we have ourselves a 7 staircase level 9, and that is the evil. That's the worst feeling ever. Fred is going to do an up and A. jkoper still going to explore this corner of level 9. This could be a case of the first of the silver arrows will win this race. As Fred now heading over here to just to the left of the start area, the section that I was just mentioning just a few moments ago.
Notice there is no path to Zelda from the south.
Absolutely. Fred finds Ganon. He may have to go through this room, bomb out of here to find where the silver arrows are. That is a definite possibility too. He cannot, and he's already checked this wall here. So he had heard the roar earlier because he was in that room to the left, but he has opted to up and A and get out of that general area. We still have yet to see the map of this level 9, and it's surprising that jkoper did not pick up that book here to see what the map for level 9 would be, even though it would have caused him a little bit of hell with regards to his wand.
You might be figuring that because level 9 is generally very square and looks like a piece of Swiss cheese, the map in 9 is almost irrelevant.
They are in the same room. They came out of the Fred came out of the staircase that jkoper just went in.
Now, once jkoper hears Ganon, because he has not heard Ganon yet, when jkoper hears or sees Ganon, that's where the crucial decision comes in. Does he bounce on 9 and go to 7?
Absolutely. And we know that it is not the answer, but it could very well be the answer for him.
jkoper is going to look in this room, see there's no path to Zelda from this side, but he now knows where he's going to know where Ganon is in a couple of seconds.
Yep, there's the dark room here for jkoper, and he's going to do the same thing that Fred did. He is going to go ahead and try to check this bomb wall to the north, and I don't think he's checked the wall to the west here, and that is a no, and he is saving. He is leaving level 9.
This is the break in the seed that is going to really swing it one way or the other, because it's been a dead even heat up to this point.
Absolutely, as Fred is trying to make his way over towards Zelda. We know the silvers are here in level 9. We know this by process of elimination.
Fred finds the book.
And he is going to pick it up because it is his map. He can now know what walls he needs to bomb inside of this level 9. Ooh, that's an evil room there underneath the dash there. I don't know if anyone's made it over there yet.
Absolutely. Also, looking at the way this 9 is shaped, it's almost segmented by design in that there's very few ways to cross from that right center portion of the map to that lower left corner.
Absolutely. So now Fred, with this knowledge in hand, he's going to deal with the wand fire, but it's going to give him some information as he tries to make his way to the north here. That was a room that he had already killed earlier.
And I think if you're just looking for silvers in level 9, it is absolutely worth taking on the Wandfire to have that map.
Absolutely. jkoper probably wishing he had pulled out the book at this point in time as he takes a look at this level 7, but he will have the map really, really soon, and I think it may have been this room.
Yep,
yes, it was.
There it is. So, the longer jkoper spends in here, the larger the gap between him and Fred gets.
Yeah, both runners know where Ganon is. Both runners know where Zelda is. Fred, I think, has figured out the path to get to her when he found that path over towards where the book was.
And if he has not, he will know it very soon after. He knows he can't approach from the south, and I believe he can't approach from the east. So that gives him very few options left to begin with.
Fred, well, now wanting to make it over to the rooms here, maybe towards the south, maybe towards the right. I think Fred wants to figure out what's in some of these loose squares that he has not seen inside of this level 9, as jkoper trying to figure out where the silvers are. We know they're not here in 7. It's a heart container inside of this dungeon.
But that is the kind of thing you want to do, is if you're in 9, do everything in your power not to leave loose squares. And did either runner go to that room in the far bottom right corner?
I have no idea, honestly.
What if the silvers are in there and it's just the room that's been overlooked this whole time?
That is a sad way of watching a race unfold. But, you know, it's happened before. You don't go to that room to the south, and sometimes that can happen. As Fred trying to make his way to the southern tier of this level 9, because there's definitely some rooms unexplored, and here is a spiral staircase.
Is this going to be it?
This could be it right here. It is the silvers. We have found where the silvers are here inside of this level 9. So Fred is going to do the up and A. He is going to head back over towards Ganon, and he is going to save the princess and get a perhaps be a 1-up series lead on jkoper here in the semifinals.
And jkoper does not realize it at this moment, but his window of opportunity is very quickly closing. If it's not already completely closed.
Yeah, I think the doors are pretty much about a very fraction open. That's only if Fred has a miserable hit round here against Ganon, down to 1 heart. A Hyrule driver will do 1 heart of damage and send him back to the start, but not too far away from start is where Ganon is, so it's not like it's a consequential thing. There it is.
He got the stun lock, a little bit loose at the end, but he did get it. And I believe he has seen a path to Zelda based on that up A. He will be done with the seed. He may sub 115 it, depending on how long it takes him to get back there.
All he now needs to do is just carve out his path to get over towards her.
jkoper finds the other end of the T room. You cannot approach Zelda from the east.
Fred heading into this room, you can't approach her, so there was only one way to get to Zelda this time around.
Fred's going to try to bomb his way through, and he can, crucially.
And there it is, just 2 rooms away for Fred, and he will get a 1-0 series lead over jkoper in Game 1 of the semifinals for the right to play Jam in the finals. There it is for Fred, as he will done in 1:14:20. Get your GGs for Fred.
Right as jkoper picks up that heart container.
Yep, and at that point in time, Fred wins. jkoper knows that the silvers were going to be in level 9. It was just unfortunate he found the book first.
Yes.
And that came into play here in game number 1. So coming up in just a few moments here, we will break. And then game number 2 of this best of 3 series for Fred and jkoper.
Will Fred perform another 2-0? Will we see a third game? Or will we just have another level 9 where you just have to run around like a chicken with your head cut off?
Stay tuned. That's coming up here in just a few moments here on SpeedGaming. And welcome back here to SGLive2019 in Herndon, Virginia. We are on the semifinals of the Zelda 1 Randomizer Tournament between jkoper and fcoughlin. And we are going into game number 2 with Fred with a 1-0 series lead. So if Fred wins this, he moves on to the championship. jkoper needs this to stay alive in the tournament. So I'm here with El Soa. Talk about game 1 real fast.
So game 1 was a very even race between the 2 runners. Both of them had gotten all their items out of other dungeons before realizing, oh, 7's power bracelet blocked. They both had the red ring kind of close to each other. They both had power bracelet relatively close. They were about a minute or two apart going into 9. The crucial difference was jkoper left an item behind in 7. Fred did not.
Absolutely. And level 9 wound up having the silver arrows. jkoper pulling out the book in level 9, finding out that Zelda was where she was, Ganon was where he was, and, well, unfortunately made the move to go back to level 7, where he only found the heart container just as Fred had finished this seed. So here we go. These runners are all set and ready to go. Let's do this game number 2 of this best of 3 series, and we got ourselves a very nice start screen.
Oh, absolutely. It's a start screen where it's very convenient to route in Vanilla 1, Vanilla Start, the Deadwoods, the Forest. Really, the only thing it's far away from is, well, nothing.
Level 2 is at level 1.
Well, okay then.
And that is going to be the first dig for these runners, as we see some likes in the very first screen, a Goma on the second screen. Oh my.
Now, level 2, being one of our dungeons with a floor drop, generally tends to be more combat blocked than not.
And we see ourselves blocked off by everything that is possible here, so both runners are going to say no. Fred went back to the start. jkoper just left the dungeon here, so he's planning on maybe exploring the Armos area first, while Fred wants to get to the Vanilla Start area. We see Gorillas, just like in game number 1, they're on the overworld, but also Ropes came out onto the overworld as well. However, I don't see any Wizrobes.
I don't either, although I haven't seen much besides the Gorillas and the Octoroks yet.
Well, we've seen Tektites, we've also seen Ropes on the overworld, so there's something else that got put into the dungeons. 116 for the large secret, just like the first seed, a lot of money early on.
So I wonder if knowing that you have a lot of money available in this seed, do you start prioritizing things like a candle and a arrow purchase as we find the Any Roads?
One of them takes you right to a vanilla Any Road. So that already eliminates one of our power bracelet spots. And oh, 40 for the mid secret.
This is going to be a very generous seed on the money. I would expect that Blue Ring is now very much an option for these runners to purchase.
We find a potion shop at the potion shop.
Price of, wait, well, there's like 9 of them available. 8 or 9 of them, I think.
Oh, I don't know which potion shop it was. It didn't mark itself like store number 3. Well, now we can buy some potions.
I wonder if he's going to go back and immediately show the potion person, hey, here's the letter, and then see that the red potion is expensive, probably.
jkoper trying to get past the Octoroks to get himself into, as Fred just barely gets past the Armos there before taking the death, only to find that it's a door repair charge, but he does an up and A before he gets sacked the money.
Yes, the trigger for the money deduction in the door repair rooms is when the text finishes.
You remember when we had slow-moving text?
Yeah, it was very easy to do then. Unless you got, like, the exclamation point or just ha, and then your money goes away.
Or knee.
Yeah.
Level 4 is at the desert shop.
Making sure I have my...
Level 4, having Lionels inside.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we know they're not on the overworld. And Wizrobes.
Lionels and Wizrobes together, oh my. But we got ourselves a staircase. This could be the item, unless this is a segmented 4.
It's a segmented 4.
As I said, that right as he goes in the staircase, we have ourselves the Commentator Curse. Oh god, if this was the room that the item is in.
It probably is.
It probably is.
So, for those who don't know, I am known for being relatively trolly on what I wish upon the runners. I was nice last seed. I want to see a full 5-item chain reaction this seed. Recorder leads to Power Bracelet, leads to Raft, leads to Bow, leads to Silvers under a Goma.
I'm going to go ahead and leave you right now because I have an 8:30 train to catch. I might need to get myself ready to go now because I don't know if I'm going to be done with this before the commentary is done and over with. Fred picking up the book. jkoper did not.
And it kind of shows that the book is... The value of the book with all of the maps, as we saw in Game 1, gave Fred the knowledge that, hey, there's some really weird rooms in 9. The fact that he is going to have all of the maps in under 5 minutes is actually quite powerful.
Yeah, especially since we're on the only dungeon we've seen so far. Well, we've seen 2 dungeons, 2 and 4. As jkoper's trying to find where this wood sword is. It can be in any open cave. And we find ourselves another mid-secret. We haven't seen the blue ring shop just yet, so we don't know how much it's going to cost to get that blue ring. As Fred finds yet another level, and there's the power of the map right there. We have level 3 for Fred.
At the far northeast 100 secret. As jkoper finds level 1 at the same time.
Level 1 is a better find because you might find an item on the floor. And what if that's the white sword as we see a HUD clip for Fred? Power bracelet, the item in 1.
I don't think, based on last seed, jkoper is going to say no to that early.
And thankfully he was able to pick up that power bracelet before he took the hug by the Lionel to take him back to the start of level 1.
But is something you can do is if you find a dungeon, you can immediately up an A once you're in there and you will be reset back to 3 hearts. So if you're lower on health than 3 hearts and you want to keep exploring on the overworld, you pop in a dungeon, up A, and then immediately keep exploring. I didn't quite catch how much the door repair was, but it seems like it was in the 20+ range.
Yeah, so that rolled a little bit high, but we've given these runners a lot of rupees, so they can stomach these taxes all they want.
Yeah. I want to say level 1 was that. Ooh, that's an arrow shop. jkoper doesn't have any rupees.
That is definitely an arrow shop. It is a very expensive arrow shop. What was it, 99?
I think it was 97.
Ooh, that's still very high. And we do see the map for level 1, so that's the power of having the book right there for Fred. As he makes his way over to the right, he's going to see the power bracelet, but he's also going to see the Lionels that inhabit this dungeon.
I would just like to point out that level 1 and 2 swapped spots for this seed. I didn't catch what the coast item was.
It was the recorder.
Oh. Well, that's nice.
So we've already seen the power bracelet. We've already seen the recorder that opens up 3 or 4 additional spots because we've already seen one of the take any roads turn out to be a power bracelet spot. So that eliminates that from the pool.
So the question will become, how much value will the runners put on that raft at this point, knowing that, oh, it wasn't 99. But Fred's going to buy those arrows.
Well, it was a purchase that definitely paid off for him in game number 1, although both runners ended up using that to their advantage. But, you know, having the wood arrows early on, if you find the bow, just definitely gives you an offensive upgrade.
And there is an adage amongst a large portion of the Zelda 1 community that is, if buying wooden arrows will somehow force silver arrows to be the next item you find, they will be bought every single seed.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, in this case, we don't know. But very well could be in this level 3. But we are ladder blocked from that direction. Darknut's in level 3.
We now know that ladder is required no matter what anybody says about that recorder. Because we saw the map on Fred's side, that's the only way to get out of that entrance room.
That is 100% correct. We have yet to see any of the take-any's for the chance for one of these runners to pick up a candle, so we have yet to go without any offensive combat items.
For that matter, we also have not seen the candle shop. In the event that they decide, because the money is so good in this seed, they may choose to just purchase the candle and take the extra heart, or the extra potion, depending on how late they find it.
Brad finding a take any road. He's going to go ahead and take these to figure out what they're going to do. Probably hate himself when he finds out that the second one goes right there, but he already has the power bracelet, so it's not like it's a big deal.
And that one any road on Death Mountain may actually prove to be very fruitful in the future once they have some bombs. jkoper's going to try his hand again at the White Sword screen, as it's known. And this screen is deceptively difficult to do more often than not.
I think he's got it now. He's got himself past there enough he can get inside, and there is our candle shop for 79 rupees, but he doesn't have enough rupees to make that purchase.
Yeah, that is a that is going to be probably something jkoper will not go back to unless he finds wood sword quickly, which Fred has just found at
Level 6.
level 6. And you can kind of see on the face cam what looks like a little bit of a sigh of relief finally having gotten that.
So Fred now with the ability to kill things, he does pick up some bombs. Now jkoper picks up some rupees, so he knows where the candle shop is. Does he make his way back over towards there, or does he continue to explore? He's going to continue to explore this area.
I think this makes sense. He still hasn't seen where the wood sword is. He could still find a take any and not have to buy that candle. To me, it makes sense to go ahead and keep exploring, as Fred's going to go ahead and check some of our spots over here near the grave.
Yeah, and there's our magical sword, or the white sword item, the magical boomerang is what I mean to say. And that was the magical boomerang in the last seed, too.
Yeah. The randomizer is showing us a very consistent pattern right now.
It's 100% evil.
Well, I mean, we knew that coming in, Rick.
You are correct. And these runners should know it by now, too, considering the fact that Fred created this thing.
Yes, and jkoper's been around since the early days.
Yeah, he's part of the early crew that has been playing this game since day number 1 as Fred takes the death here. And jkoper is purchasing the 42 rupee bait.
You know, I am one of those people that will never disagree with a bait purchase if you have the money for it, and he's also going to buy a key.
72 rupees, a very, very inexpensive key, a good purchase for him to make. You never know when the key's going to help you out. We've already seen ourselves with a key block in level 2, plus a Goma, of course, but I think the key is a little more important, especially when you pop into a Shapes dungeon and you're not certain where you need to go.
And maybe that's what jkoper's thinking is, if nothing else, he could try to use the meat to gather the enemies in a certain spot so he can have an easier time passing through, as he picks up the second large secret of the seed.
So Fred's going to clear out this room with the like, so we had no way of killing them earlier on. Also, don't forget that Fred does have bombs, and there was a room to the right of where we got shot in our first path through this level 2. Now watch this to be where the map is.
You know, I gotta say that sometimes it's easy to underestimate. Sometimes it's easy to underestimate how powerful that early map book combo can be until you walk into something like a level 6 or a level 8 and you immediately know how big it is, you immediately know where the choke points are, and you immediately know if it's segmented or not, so you know how many stairs to expect.
And you notice that Fred ended up choosing to go bomb to the right as opposed to bombing down. That's because there's a possibility that you may not be able to bomb down in level 2, because that could be where the old man turns out to be. So we find a heart container in level 2, but we don't know if that's the item of the dungeon, because the hearts, they are not shuffled.
That is correct. And we know that the item will not be in this room. However, Fred does stand a decent chance of getting bombs, and he does get them.
Yeah, with those moblins right there, and we get ourselves a shoot room, so Fred is going to have to clear out this room of these moblins right now as jkoper takes a death after picking up the white, or rather the wood sword.
You know what I say to that shoot room? Oh, shoot.
And there's a good reason why Fred didn't bomb down. It did turn out to be an old man there.
I think Fred had a pretty good idea. Fred could probably have deduced pretty well that that's where the old man was going to be.
Yeah, because there's very few rooms that they actually could have been inside of this level 2. Now, remember, jkoper did not pull out the book from the Armos item, and you can see that he's going to be trying to bomb blindly, or just try to figure out where he needs to go in this level 2 at first, until he does pick up that map. Now, the map to level 2 was not bomb blocked, but you had to spend a key to get to that room if you didn't want to spend a bomb.
And keys are not necessarily, I mean, yes, technically they're an infinite resource because you can grind money, you can just buy infinite amounts of keys, but that takes a lot of time. Any key in level 2 is, that's actually kind of interesting that the dungeon that you're most accessible just was a little bit key blocked had your any key.
Absolutely. So jkoper, if he does explore this level 2, will be happy that he was able to maybe turn a key into an any key. As Fred trying to finish off this room in level 2, he's just looking for the Triforce right now because he's already found the heart container as well in the event that he wanted to expand his health. I mean, we know it's a magical boomerang, but you definitely want to get more than just 3 hearts in this game.
Oh, absolutely. Just Ganon alone will deal 4 hearts of damage when he touches you, so you generally want to try to get to at least 5.
Just become a runner like Crystal Saber or anybody else who decides to run this game damageless. And there's the Triforce for Fred.
I do think, even with the magical key find that jkoper will likely find while he's in here.
He's going to get it. I mean, it's right on the way to the Triforce.
Yeah. The resource advantage lies with Fred just from having those maps and the fact that he isn't bombing blindly in these dungeons.
Absolutely. Now, jkoper does have the map for this level 2. He knows where he needs to go. And as Fred does pick up another of these medium secrets at 40 rupees, trying to figure out where the levels are, we have seen where levels 1, 2, 3, and 4 are so far. But we still have 5 more levels we need to find.
Including the all-important level 9, which has absolutely no restrictions on its location other than it's in Hyrule.
So Fred making his way over, trying to screen scroll his way. We know that the recorder is on the rather on the ladder spot there, so we know if there's some dig dugger around, we need to pick up that recorder. Not a guarantee that we definitely need it at this point, but we'll see how the seed transcribes. I know you're hoping for it.
I'm definitely hoping for it. Like, we have not started the chain reaction yet.
We could have the power bracelet leading to a level here by way of the grave that leads to the ladder, that leads to the recorder, that leads to the bow.
And then put the Goma in the Silver's room and have you kill the Goma for the Silvers.
We do find a level here on Death Mountain. It is level 8. It is a double segmented level.
And jkoper is not going to know that coming in unless he decides to go back and pick that book up. Because Fred knows that, he now knows, okay, there's going to be 2 sets of transport staircases, so I will expect to see more transports than not. And that dividing line of the segment is not big.
Absolutely. So we do find our first transport staircase. It takes you right over to the middle of this upper section of this level 8. We have a shutter door, so we know this is not going to be a push block to get into a staircase, as jkoper picks up the Triforce, both runners with a Triforce out of level 2.
You know, that gel HP is kind of ugly. Just a little bit.
Absolutely.
Anytime, like, certain enemies, if they roll high, it's not terrible. Like, honestly, the blue Wizrobes, the blue Gorillas, anything that already has a lot of health, if it rolls high, okay, it's just 1 or 2 extra hits.
Hey!
Hi, Dig Dogger.
And he's blocking some rooms. He's blocking at least 1 room.
Yeah, that's,
He's blocking more than just 1 room.
yeah, he's blocking a whole slew of them. But we know the ladder's not going to be back there now. As
It still could be in this level 8.
it very well could be, but if it is in this level 8, it will not be in those rooms specifically.
Don't you like double digs of a dungeon?
I like quadruple digs of a dungeon. Don't ask me how to do that in Z1, but I like it.
Very well could be a possibility. Hi, Feasel. Bye, Feasel. He put some hardware on this table.
Yes.
This is what they're fighting for here in the Zelda 1 Randomizer Tournament. These lovely little trophies.
And our belief, as far as we know, is that they have real metal.
Yes, they do. They're nice and heavy. More heavier than the magical sword.
You have 14 hearts?
Let me check. I'll get back to you on that.
Okay.
Fred finds a reverse C room. This has a possibility of being a staircase room.
Now, because of shapes, certain rooms that normally would either have to be a stair or a drop, such as reverse C, they can just be nothing. In this case, it is not. It is a stair.
Is this a transport staircase, or is this an item? It is the item. And I'd say that's a pretty decent item as we find Spectacle Rock holding level 6.
So with level 6 found at Vanilla 9, somebody just flipped the number over.
Ooh! Bombs are 1 rupee!
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to complain about that. If anyone does, please let me know so that we can ask them why.
You're gonna have to teach them the words of the reasons why.
Yes. So we have level 1 and 2 swapped in the seed, as well as level 6 upside down in the level 9, as well as level 9 upside down. I like the way the seed is shaping up.
Plus that dig dagger still could have something.
Yes, it could.
Fires do not go down in a bomb. And the red bombs, or the red keys that come afterwards, do not go down in a single wood sword hit either. These are evil keys.
I think the game wants us to have a white sword. Now, Fred will not nearly have as much a problem with that because he does have the wand, so he can just wand destroy everything.
Absolutely. Just the fact that you have lost a resource for bombs. Don't forget in shapes, you have to kill this room. Maybe potentially the Triforce will spawn in this room, and hey, there's a Goma.
Oh. Well, that can change the chain reaction. Now we can have bow leads to ladder, leads to recorder, leads to Triforces.
It could lead to disgusting.
There are multiple options for this seed to be absolutely terrible right now, and it's looking like all of them.
I better call the train company up and tell them I'm going to be late for the train at this point in time. We could be here for a while.
Well, once we get that recorder, you can probably just use that, I would guess. It looks kind of like a train's whistle-ish.
No, you're right.
Some would also say it looks like a breadstick.
We know this is not going to be a push block staircase as Fred clears it out anyways. jkoper going to purchase some more cheap bombs.
And that is one of the very few rooms that that has a push block in the center row that will never have a stair.
Absolutely. That's the room you see in level 2 in second quest.
Yep. It's the first one you see, and it normally contains a key drop after killing 5 Gibdos.
Let's find out where this Triforce is in level 8.
I'm gonna guess it's Dig Dogger blocked.
I'm gonna guess that too. Huzzah!
It's Dig Dogger blocked. Yay! Ish.
Fred is still going to try to figure out where this second item of level 8 is because, you know, for all he knows, this could very well be the ladder and he doesn't want to leave here without it.
Well, this could be it right here.
No, that was where the wand was.
That's right. I'm getting my staircases confused. Sorry. Watching multiple people. Anyway. So, jkoper has found the Triforce in level 6.
That's a nice Triforce find for him.
Absolutely. I don't recall him picking up an item, though. I wonder if he will make the same gamble he made last time and leave that item in 6. And we're ladder blocked out of the second item in 8 no matter what now.
Well, he's going to pick up some more bombs at the very, very least. Get his arsenal up to 8.
You would be hard-pressed to find a way to make bombs not have any monetary value in this seed. He's going to go back into level 6. Perhaps changing up his, perhaps not willing to gamble after the last seed's results. And that is something you do sometimes see is in best of 3 series is if they're played back-to-back, the runners will change their strategy up from race to race, saying, okay, well, maybe I should focus a little bit more on this because this is where I lost some time last race, or vice versa.
Yeah, and of course the fact that he's now on his last potential stand in this tournament, he loses this match, he's out of the tournament, so maybe he's got to correct what happened to him in the last race.
You'll notice something particular about the way jkoper placed that bomb. He placed it so that he would get the wall and the Dark Nut at the same time.
Yeah, that's a very, very good presence of mind right there to figure out where the bomb was going to hit and also make sure that it does damage to the enemies, because you don't want to wind up using extra resources here in a level 6. Now, if only jkoper had some sort of reading material that let him know where the layout to this level 6 was.
The map exists as a drop somewhere in the... Oh, you mean the other reading material?
Yep, correct.
He's going to leave. Probably just go buy more bombs.
Back to the bomb shop. Let's go buy some more bombs.
jkoper could, in theory, just stick around forever in the 6 because he can just refill on his bombs whenever he wants.
Yeah, but the more time he does this, the more time he's going to sink, and he's walking away. He's cashing in his chips. He's leaving.
I can't say I blame him.
Hey, and level 9 is power bracelet blocked.
Okay.
So, big news there for Fred right there, but, I mean, both runners do have the power bracelet. It's not an advantage for either of these runners.
Now,
just the knowledge advantage right there for Fred. So we have found all but 2 of our levels, 5 and 7.
And also of note...
Oh, that's disgusting.
It's right next to level 4.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, level 4 is level 4. But level 4 might be disgusting, but it's a very easy whistle to get to 9. And I did miss which screen level 8 was on as I was watching Fred handle that room.
Yeah, we've already seen level 8 from Fred. It's up on Death Mountain. It's towards that northwest corner of Death Mountain. Not deep on Death Mountain, I think. Second row down, 4 up, or 4 in.
That sounds about right. Fred is up to 5 hearts.
Yeah, he found the heart container off the Dodongo here. It does say no to trying to tackle him, trying to take care of these Lionels. That Juan is going to help him out with that as jkoper tries to explore this level 8. Little does he know that he can't pull the Triforce out of here just yet.
And what I think is interesting is this has been a very low health seed so far.
Yeah, we're 26 minutes in, and we have 1 heart container found for jkoper and 2 heart containers found for jkoper. And there is the transport staircase to 1 whole room for Fred. We saw that earlier. There's the wand pickup for jkoper, so that's going to boost up his offensive output. And there's the Triforce for Fred. He's going to pick that up. Is he going to stay inside this level 4?
I think he is. It's small enough. It's close enough. He's got no reason to leave it right now.
Goes back in. And knowing the layout to this level 4, that may play around with his decision. Now all he's looking for is a staircase. He knows it's not this room because of the shutter door.
And he's probably very happy it's not that room.
Oh, yeah. He's happy that there's a shutter door that tells him immediately that it is not that room.
That is one thing to keep in mind, is that because the items can never... Oh, this room.
Oh, yes, this room.
I remember talking a little bit about this room.
This room is nice.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. jkoper finding the compass to level 8.
And the red wizards rolled high.
Of course they rolled high.
Please be surprised if they rolled high, because I am not.
I can't tell in your voice if you're happy for this or not.
As somebody who enjoys wizards and dungeons, I actually am kind of happy that they rolled up a little bit.
And Fred tries to do the reload the room to see who is the primary enemy and see if he can't get rid of the blue wizrobe and find some red Lionels. They're not that difficult to deal with when you have the wand.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a nice primary there. The red Lionel turns out to be the primary. Pushes as a block, and there it is. That is the item of level 4.
It's the red ring.
Another combat room that leads to an item. The red ring in this case.
You know? Much like last seed.
Yeah, the Patrick guarded it in the last seed between these two. And now it is guarded by some wizrobes and Lionels. Oh my.
I'm getting a message from the game that you have to earn your combat in the seeds. You have to earn it.
You're not always going to find it in the middle of a room after you decide to kill a room filled with Lionels and then go into the next room that has 3 keys, and there it is.
Also, shoutouts to Fred getting a candle at 29 minutes. That's...
What's a candle?
It's that thing that you use to light up your house at night and occasionally release nice fresh scents throughout your home so that it doesn't smell terrible.
Ah.
Yeah, it's one of those. Also conveniently burns wood.
jkoper, because of the fact that he has not pulled out the book, is going to try to bomb that wall, only to find out he can't get there from here.
But because he can't walk there due to that dig dogger, he doesn't necessarily know yet this level 8 is segmented unless he's been in both transports.
jkoper being patient here with the likes, wanting to make sure that he doesn't take the death here, down to a 1/2 of a heart as Fred makes his way over towards the vanilla level 2 area, where he's going to find level 1.
And now he has wand, he has wood sword. He will be able to do the combat in this dungeon to try to find his lovely stair item.
So now as he goes through this level 1, and then over here to the right, remember the fact that we've already pulled out the power bracelet. That was the floor item in this level 1. There's going to be one inside of a staircase, and we'll also see the boss heart somewhere as well, perhaps.
And it looks like based on the fact that jkoper is taking this stair and he has been to the segment of 8, he is now aware that 8 is segmented. He's not quite yet aware of the Goma block, though.
More wiz robes inside of level 1 on top of the Lionels. And there is the key of no significant value here for Fred since he has the any key.
I'm pretty sure that key is worth 72 rupees.
Have you ever tried to sell a key back to the shop?
Well, what is he going to do with it? He is not dungeoning.
Good point.
He would just sell it back. He would like take it for 20 bucks and then sell it back for 72.
Fred opting to take away the rupee penalty here, which is surprising. Maybe it's because he doesn't want to deal with that room with the Lionels again, the blue Lionels.
Very possible. It could also be that he already has a candle. He has red ring. Outside of maybe wooden arrows, there isn't a whole lot left for him to need to buy in the seed, and I believe he's already bought those too.
So we find the boss heart container of level 1 as he tries now to find a staircase. He also still has to find the Triforce of level 1, but Fred knows that the Triforce cannot be in that room. He also knows that the item cannot be in that room, and this is a disgusting room to come out onto from the right-hand side.
Yes, this is one of the quirky rooms in the randomizer logic. That could be a Triforce room. But that useless moat room, as it's known, is a quirk in the randomizer logic where, technically speaking, the game can have you go through that room without anything more than 3 hearts, depending on, I want to say, the enemies and whatnot. But if you have the one-hit KO flag on, that room will never be required to go through without a ladder because it would make a seed impossible.
Fred picking up the heart container here in level 1.
jkoper back into level 8. Probably is just going to get some bombs here and then continue his exploration, as this is a good place to farm bombs with this triple Dodongo room.
So very, very helpful for the fact that he's got 1 bomb as Fred clears out that room, finds out that it's a drop room. However, thankfully for him, it's not the Triforce.
Perhaps unthankfully, though, because if this room is not... Okay.
There it is.
He got bailed out of having to do that blue wizard room. Very important. And he's probably breathing a little bit of a sigh of relief seeing that.
Absolutely. He is done with level 1, gets the Triforce out of there. That gives him a 3-2 Triforce lead as jkoper, thinking about his options, looking over, and now has decided to spend 99 rupees on some arrows.
And given the money in the seed, given what he's seen, absolutely a good idea to go ahead and get that.
Now finds the white sword item, the magical boomerang, and he has decided not to pick that up. As Fred, continuing on his search here in the northeast corner, has found a community hint. Also found nothing inside of the Lost Hills spots there, so that takes care of our our power braces spots. Only one led to a dungeon, and it's a dungeon that we still can't get into until we have 8 pieces of the Triforce.
Silvers could be in there, though.
It can be.
However, something to note is the reason silvers are actually slightly more likely than the normal, like, 2 in 15 or 2 in 23 chance, depending on if you have Heart Shuffle on, is with these flags, important items cannot be in level 9. And the important items are considered the bow, the raft, the ladder, the power bracelet, and the recorder. Everything else is fair game.
jkoper making his way to where the candle shop was. He will purchase his candle for now 79 rupees down. So candle rolled up plus 19. The arrows rolled up plus 19.
That meat didn't.
Where's the seed playing nice?
Well, it gave, well, the large secret rolled up plus 16. The mid secret rolled up plus 15. Oh, it rolled up plus 10. Oh, hey, magical sword.
Yep, and that's something we're not going to be able to pull out here for another at least 3 minimum hearts, if not 7 more hearts. As Fred continues to explore, so does jkoper, still trying to find where our remaining levels are. We have yet to see level 5. We've yet to see level 7.
I find it interesting that the runners were able to get this far into the seed with no candle. It's a very candle-light seed.
But we still very well could find a level that is underneath the burnt bush, as Fred making his way over towards, I think, the Graveyard Armos.
Looks like he's diverting a little bit. Probably going to go to the loft. He's going to the blue ring shop.
He is going to the rare shop. Where the blue ring shop is currently in vanilla as he makes his way around the corner. He's going to be checking the burnt bushes of the Lost Hills. Or the dead woods, rather.
Why are the woods dead?
I think it's because the leaves are changing like they do in fall.
It appears that Hyrule is suffering from Oracle of Season syndrome.
It works for me.
jkoper is now in level 4. He probably will dig his red ring out of here as he knows he's still looking for a ladder. He knows he's still looking for a recorder. He knows he's still looking for a bow, and he knows he's still looking for silver arrows. That's more than enough items to justify digging a level 4.
jkoper, without the map in hand, is bombing another spot that Fred knew was not a location because he had the atlas, the book.
And that kind of speaks to the value that can be gotten, even though, yes, it does make that fire come out of your wand, and yes, you can run into it. The value of the maps is, at least in my opinion, greater than that little bit of cost.
So Fred now burning this bush here, and we'll find that it turns out to be another door repair charge. jkoper finding the Triforce here in level 4.
He doesn't know this is a one-room segment yet.
Yes, he does not. And he is going to just up ante at this point.
And at 37 minutes, 40-something seconds in, Fred has found our first bonus cave of the seed.
That is weird.
Yeah, that's just... that seems wrong somehow.
Usually find them like within the first couple of minutes of the seed, but there's nothing that attaches those take any's to have to be readily available. For all we know, we can get a rare seed of them all being underneath power bracelet spots.
That is very possible. The other thing to note about the candle is the game's logic never assumes you take a free candle out of a bonus cave or the wood sword cave. It always assumes you're going to buy your candle, so there must always be a candle shop underneath a bomb spot or in an open cave. Or under one of the other blocks. Basically, there can't be basically, the candle can't only be blocked by candles. The candle shops can't only be blocked by candle. I can word good, trust me.
Don't worry, I've been going throughout these first 2 games, not wording well myself, so I know that feeling. It is this room, the room that jkoper longs for.
He does now have the combat to handle it, but he is a little bit low on health. So he's going to do the respawn manipulation, which is definitely the way to go about doing this room. And look at that.
And it's both Lionels here. We knew the Lionel was the primary, but it is the two Lionels in the order of operations. And there is the red ring for jkoper, as Fred was making a decision. Do I pick up the heart container or do I pick up the potion? He has chosen to go with the heart container to put him at 9.
He may be thinking about a magical sword play, given how many enemies in the seed have rolled high.
We have found level 5. It is at the Vanilla Coast Heart Shop, or Coast Take Any.
That leaves us one dungeon left, which once again is level 7.
Yeah, 7, just like it was in the game 1 between these two. There's the map for Fred. He does not need it. He is blocked away from getting into 2 of these rooms at this point without the ladder. But we still have several items that are very important to this seed that we have yet to see.
And I don't think I'd go... Well, I don't think I'd go worrying about those 2 rooms yet, but yes, we have bow, not found. Silver arrows, not found. Ladder, not found. Raft, not found. Potentially required.
Well, there's that answer. We have found the ladder in level 5.
Fred now has access to the Triforce and second item in level 8.
He also has access to the recorder.
He has access to level 3. Because we saw that there was that immediate Chevy room in level 3. The runners have not been able to get back in there yet.
Absolutely. So this is a good find for Fred, but jkoper is just behind him.
I find it interesting how throughout this whole series, even with the route divergences, they end up coming to the same location at the same time with that one key item that's going to open the seat up.
Fred trying to bomb his way around, trying to figure out where the Triforce is in this level 5. Doesn't need that room drop. He's got a whole bunch of keys to his disposal at this point, as jkoper now in the room that contains the ladder.
He'll probably be just as happy as Fred was to see that.
And with good measure, there is the Triforce for Fred.
Not actually Gliok blocked. Very important.
Just semi-Gliok blocked.
Yes.
Like you just had to dance around with a Gliok and then take his treasure. So we're just looking for level 7. That's the only level on our table that we've yet to find. Maybe it's here along the coast area. There's our Bay block.
I'm going to predict, as we find the transport stair in level 5, level 7 is there.
There is 7.
The chain reaction has died. You will be able to make your train today. Or tomorrow.
We haven't found the bow yet.
You have a better shot at making your train.
We haven't found our bow yet.
You have a better shot at it.
We haven't found our silvers yet.
Those don't exist. If the silvers existed, I mean, they would, but the game has shown us that they don't exist outside of 9.
What haven't we seen so far? We haven't seen the items in 3, or the item in 3. We haven't seen the item in 6 or 7, so that's where the possibility of where the bow can be. The silver's a different story. They can be in level 9. As you will mention to me in just a moment, I am forgetting something.
The second item in level 8, that is quarter blocked.
Thank you.
I think I could just tell that was coming.
Thank you. I knew you were taking that setup properly here as jkoper picks up his Triforce out of level 5. And we are still even in a very evenly matched series between these two for the right to play Jam Eviler and the championship.
I would even say jkoper is a slight bit ahead now, simply on the grounds that he has to go back to level 1 to get the Triforce, which is generally a smaller dungeon than level 6.
Absolutely.
And these maps have been early enough that the book maps have not had as much of an impact as we might have expected.
See some face-taking shreds here for Fred.
That is the best way to tank enemies, is just tank with your face with a red ring. Don't try it without. Do not try it without. You will die. A lot.
Let me write that down.
Yeah.
Not tank without red ring. I need some help.
Yeah, you know
That's wrong with my game plan.
Hey, see, I should follow my own advice because I do the same thing. Just face tank everything. Oh, I don't have a red ring. Well, I guess I'm dying now.
Yep. Hi, Wizrobes.
That's why we refer to them as Uncle Wizzy.
I'd refer to them something else, but I don't think that's family-friendly language here on Speed Gaming.
We have both runners in 7. jkoper's just a couple steps behind Fred for now. I'm curious as to if one of them will go to 3 before going back to 8.
I don't see why not. I mean, 3 is a smaller dungeon at this point in time, and don't forget we saw Goma in what could be a staircase room.
That is fair. For all we know, we're still Goma blocked from our silvers, because Raft can't be required at this point, and they could be in level 8. Is that... However, I think that might be a gamble you're willing to make if the seed goes long and neither runner is entering 9 before an hour-ish. That might be a gamble the runners will make, is exactly that Goma.
Now, the fun part here is you never know what can happen. We know that if there's an item in this staircase, it can't be the bow, but it is a transport staircase.
Yes, that is something funny about the diamond stairs. Because the block clips that you've been seeing are not assumed to be done, Oh, interesting. That part is siphoned off. You have to take the stair to get in there.
Maybe the Triforce is behind it. Maybe the second item is behind it.
Watch it be a doubled corridor stair.
Well, we know the Triforce isn't.
Fred has to be a little careful to not get knocked into the Triforce here if he wants to keep exploring this dungeon, which it looks like he does.
Remember what happened to him in game number 1. He found the item in level 7 that helped deduce him that the fact that that was close to being grabbed by the Wallmaster. But he was able to grab the information that the silvers were at 9. And that is a very cheap bomb upgrade at 87 rupees, but it's +2.
It's still cheaper than vanilla, so it's still worth something, and just being realistic here, if you are given a bomb upgrade and you can afford it, you'll probably pick it up.
I think we're down to the idea that we do have to go into those 2 rooms in order to get to the item, although Fred looks like he may be looking at his map. He may have found a different thing, a possibility of it not being in this direction, as jkoper is heading his way over towards the spiral staircase section of the bottom left quarter of level 7. New territory for us.
The question is, what will come of it? Well, the heart container.
There's the other staircase.
So it looks like that section was just there to house a heart and a key. And we find the boomerang.
Wooden boomerang, at least it's information here, so Fred's not going to get that the 10th heart to his arsenal at this point in time. He will grab this Triforce and get on out of here.
And here we have a very different situation to what we had in the first seed. In the first seed, a lot of our good items were found later on as they were looking for those silver arrows. Here, there is a 25% chance of any given item that they find being the bow, but there's not a whole lot of very valuable items left that it can be besides that, with the exception of the silvers.
Well, let's go ahead and take a look at the seed right now. We have 5 items still yet to be found. The item in 3, the item in 6, the item in 8, and the 2 in 9. Let's remove the items in level 9. We know that the raft and the bow have to be amongst the items in 3, 6, or 8. We have yet to find any indication whether or not that Goma in level 8 is going to lead to the other staircase. There's still a lot of room still to explore in that level 8. Of course, we've yet to find the bow. That very well could be in level 3.
Which it looks like that's where Fred's headed now. He did pick his recorder up off the coast.
So we're now at that position here where there's a 66% chance that silvers are in 9.
And this time, unlike last seed where they have the benefit of digging a level 7, which is generally a little bit smaller, 6 tends to be pretty big.
Absolutely. So level 3 is the first destination here for Fred. Says hello to the Dark Nuts.
Besides, he wants to kill them.
And I'm surprised he's going to go ahead and do this, but he's going to clear this out, see if this is a drop room. Very well could be the Triforce. I would have expected him to at least maybe come to the conclusion that the Triforce could be here or something, but it turns out to be absolutely no drop at all. As jkoper makes his way into level 1, we have the item in level 3. It is the bow.
So now that Goma room in level 8 opens up, as we're still sitting on that 66% chance of silvers in level 9. The runners likely know that just by sheer process of elimination and knowing the flags. I am going to expect Fred will gamble on level 6. He may dig out that bottom portion of level 8 that was Dig Dogger blocked on the way to getting his Triforce, but I don't think he necessarily goes back for that Goma room just yet.
Well, here's the thing. If you dig level 8, you pull out the item, and it's not the raft, you know by conclusion that the raft is in level 6.
This is true, but if it is the raft, you're left in the same boat you were before.
Well, right. You're hoping to see anything but the raft when you make your next level dig.
Agreed. Especially because we now know the raft is going to lead to nothingness except maybe more bonus caves because you've only seen 2.
Oh, shoot. There's the Triforce.
And that is a room you need to come into with either bombs, or you need to do a lot of spawn manipulation to get that Triforce. Neither of which are necessarily the fastest option on the planet.
So for those just tuning in here, this is game number 2 of the semifinals in the Zelda 1 Randomizer Tournament here at SGLive. Winner moves on to face Jam Eviler in the championship, to win the winner's share of just over $1,400 up for grabs in this tournament.
I'm not quite sure what Fred's looking for here, because I seem to recall he's seen all of the levels. Unless he's looking for more hearts for Magical Sword, maybe even was just looking for a potion shop.
That very well could be the possibility. And there he tries to wield the Magical Sword. It is not grabbable at 11 hearts.
Hearts was probably what he was looking for then.
Absolutely, just trying to conclude, because we haven't seen all the take-any's.
And I'm starting to think at least one of them is going to be raft blocked at this point.
I almost have to believe that it is at this point, as jkoper is going to say no to the heart container in level 1.
He does have Red Ring. It looks to me, based on his heart count, he's not particularly concerned about having Magical Sword at any point. So it makes sense that he is going to go ahead and skip that heart. Now, there is another item out there that the runners probably would like to have.
Fred hasn't found level 6 yet. That's why he's checking these spots.
Ah. Well, he will find it soon.
Yeah, he will find it soon, but that's why he's checking these spots right now, because he's yet to make it over to Spectacle Rock, where level 9 or level 6 turned out to be.
And that makes sense. Conveniently enough, that's also where the 1 rupee bomb shop is.
Yeah, just to the left of that here, and Fred with the bomb upgrade that puts him at a max 10 bombs. There's level 6 for Fred, and ooh.
I think Fred will get the Triforce and run. Given the size of it, he will get the Triforce and bounce. But there is one item out there that the runners probably would like to see. That is the white sword.
I thought they wanted to see the silver arrows.
Well, they do want to see that, but failing the silver arrows, the white sword would be the next best bet.
Absolutely. So, jkoper is inside of this level 3. Did not pull out the map, or rather pull out the book, so he's doing this blindly, trying to figure out where this level 3 wants him to go. There's the Triforce for Fred. He is going to dig a few more rooms.
That to me makes sense. If you find the Triforce, digging a couple rooms around it, yeah, do that. I've been burned by that before, so I've changed my tune on it. Plus, he's not in Triforce and Go mode yet. However, I don't think he's going to go back in and look for more items in there, as that level is just
gone.
Yeah.
He is gone, and now he's going to go ahead, make his way back over towards level 8, which is on Death Mountain. He has not pulled out the Triforce there, so he can't fluke back there. And I wouldn't be surprised if at this point, because he's got to dig all the way over towards the far right corner of the upper segment of level 8, he's going to at least try to see if he can't yield out that item. Once again, if the item in level 8 is not the raft, then it is guaranteed raft is in level 6. And if that item in level 8 is not the silver arrows, but also not the raft, then we know that the silver arrows are going to be, once again, just like it was in Game 1, in level 9.
So we just have a nested if statement right here of what the silver arrows are going to be, and it ends with silvers are in level 9.
I'll put a big if statement right here.
If is a good word. Fred is going to be using his arrows to help clear this dungeon out a little more quickly. Hi, Goma. Bye, Goma.
Don't forget, Fred picked up the arrows earlier. If that Goma on that bottom segment does have the staircase,
that could end up turning the tide of this whole seed.
well, don't forget, jkoper also purchased the arrows as well, so we're not 100% certain. I mean, this could make or break the match depending on who decides to search out this level 8 as jkoper whistles back to level 6, and this is only for the purpose of transporting himself back to level 8. This is another close match. This is going to come down just like race number 1 did, where both runners could very well be in 9 within seconds of each other.
But the question will remain.
There's the other bomb upgrade.
Fred's going to buy it. Makes sense. But then the question will still be going in the runners' heads. If they go in without the silver arrows in 9, did I make the right call? And did my opponent do the same thing?
And you also got to remember, Fred is playing with a little house money at this point because of the fact that he's one up on this series.
jkoper's spending... jkoper might be going right back to that Goma room.
Well, also don't forget he doesn't have the map out of this level here, and Fred's going to pick up this Triforce right now. What does Fred do?
jkoper did not go to the Goma room. He was taking the other transport stair to get him back towards that Triforce.
Oh yeah, that's right. You are right. That was a faster route to get there. Fred is going back into level 8.
He might be going for that Goma room down at the bottom because he didn't check the rooms that are by the Triforce.
He might be in a hard thought at this point that could be the answer to his problems right now. He's going to take over, look at his notes, take a look at his mini map, try to figure out where he needs to go to get to the other side. He may very well think that the Goma is the play of the game.
And it very well could be. If it's anything but raft, he either has silvers or knows where silvers are. Well, he's checking these 2 rooms down here at the bottom that were ladder blocked.
That is right.
As jkoper is checking the portion of 8 that Fred left behind getting that Triforce.
And there's the map right there. So the map was ladder blocked.
And the item is not up in this portion of level 8. That shutter door confirms it. It is just a key drop.
I think that almost confirms that Goma, at this point, we are talking about that Goma. That Goma may have that second item of this level.
And if that Goma has the silver arrows, this whole race just got turned on its head. I believe this was the wand. Nope, this was the transport.
It was the transport staircase. So many staircases in this level 8. There's Fred going to the other side of this level 8 once again. If this is the raft, then there's still the possibility that the silvers could be in level 6. As he takes 2 hits to this Goma, needs 1 more hit to this Goma to take him down, then he'll be able to push this staircase.
And
it is the staircase. It is the other item.
jkoper's
leaving level 8, and it's the red candle. The raft's in 6. The silvers are in 9.
And jkoper is in the same situation he was before. He is currently gambling on that 66% chance of silvers in 9. The question...
jkoper ended up accidentally going back into level 4 before realizing, oh wait, I need to go to level 9. They're both going into level 9 at the same time, but Fred's going to go ahead and take the health before he goes in. White sword, the other item in this level 9.
If jkoper gets the white sword first, if we have the same situation as last seed, also, map, level 9's lower right portion is a solid block of rooms. That's kind of unusual to see, that few holes in a level 9.
That is a very, very big level 9. We're looking at what I believe is, if I'm correctly adding this up, 57 rooms. Staircase number 1.
That's the same number that I get doing the math, and also of note.
No and no for both of these runners.
57 rooms is the vanilla number of rooms in 9.
There is a Dig Dugger where Fred comes out. There is a Moldorm where jkoper comes out. Fred needs to win this to move to the championship game. jkoper needs to win this to stay alive in this and force a game 3.
And the one thing I do like that we're seeing is both runners have gone completely different ways in 9.
Yeah. And this is something that's going to be fun. I mean, who knows who's going to find the item first? And again, we could find all 6 pairs of staircases first. We could find, for all we know, we could find the white sword to be the first item that we pull out of this dungeon. Beautiful bombing right there by Fred, not only stunning 2 dongos, but also bombing that wall open. So effective bombing here. Staircase number 2 for Fred.
And here's the other thing that we know. We know that level 9 is not going to have an extra set of stairs because there's no segment to 9. So the runners will expect 6 sets of transports. And even though jkoper doesn't have the map, the chances of a segmented 9 are so low statistically, you assume that it is not segmented until you get a map.
Yeah, level 9 is very, very rarely that it does actually become segmented. jkoper has done 16 rooms of exploration so far in this level, and Fred has found the silver arrows.
Just an absolute, very quick.
And it's in the very top left corner.
That's going to take a while for jkoper to get into, although he is taking the right stair. I believe that is the stair that Fred took to get up to that upper left corner.
Yeah, he's going to take care of this Dig Dugger first. Fred, waiting to hear the roar of Ganon, has not heard it just yet. We didn't hear it on jkoper's end either. Based on the way that Fred's moving around, I don't think he's heard any roar on that top left corner either.
Furthermore, because we have not seen the single shutter door that does not open yet, we have not found the location of Zelda.
Now, this is a new room that we did not see from Fred. I don't think. Because the staircase that Fred took, there's the white sword for jkoper.
And once again, jkoper has to decide between leaving 9, knowing that there's now a 50% chance that silvers are in here, versus stay in 9, try to find your silvers.
And
go ahead.
I was going to say the problem for jkoper is where does he go if the silvers are not here? It's possible it's either level 6, which we know has the raft by elimination, or level 8, which we saw from Fred had the red candle.
The way I see it, if you're jkoper, you saw that Goma room in 8, you know where that room is, you know exactly how to get to it. You go to 8 first, you check that Goma room first, because that can be a stair. If that fails you, then you go to 6 as a last resort, assuming you have not found Ganon and Zelda, which we do see a compass.
Yes, and it's not so far away from where Fred turns out to be.
But Fred currently doesn't have a path to get there. I believe he's right below Zelda's room right now.
Yep. It could very well be in that room that's just to the north of that or to the left of that staircase, the first staircase we had seen on that left go from the start. So Fred in the driver's seat at this point, and I hear the roar of the Ganon, so that means Fred's going to be hearing it real soon. He's in the bottom left area, but Fred's going to walk away from this. Maybe he might hear from this room here. Well, does Fred go to the right? Does Fred go to the left? He's going to go to the left, and the room doesn't turn dark, so he's in the very, very bottom left corner.
But here's the thing about it. Fred and jkoper are now in the same area. jkoper has found the path to Ganon.
Oh, Fred may have heard the roar coming in here as well. I don't know. He's trying to find out the way to get to Ganon. He can't bomb in from that direction, so I think Fred knows where he needs to go, but how to get there. And jkoper is leaving.
He's going back to 6 even. He knows about that Goma room, but he's opting to go to 6.
Fred can bomb around, and we know he can bomb to the south from what we saw from jkoper. So Fred will have the path to get to Ganon at this point. He does not know how to get to Zelda, though. He's going to have to be careful with his health because of 1.5 hearts. He takes 3 bombs by these Dark Nuts. He's dead. Make it 2.
Most importantly, he's now in Hyrule Driver range.
Yeah, and I don't know if he has a potion in his arsenal. He does get a heart that's going to help. And now, 15 wood sword hits against Ganon. Oh, it's in the Chevy room too.
Man, this is not going to be an easy Ganon fight. Regardless of skill level, the Chevy room is one of the absolute toughest rooms to fight Ganon in.
3 hits on Ganon so far for Fred.
And I feel like that's the kind of thing you have to go for. You just have to pray that he spawns on that left side and just go from there. Tank the fireballs as much as you can, preferably without dying. He's got to watch out.
Oh, half a heart and 1 more pop from him, fireball, and he's dying. Oh, look at this. So get him to the corner. He's gone maybe 6 hits on him. Oh, I thought it was going to get him. There's the raft for jkoper. Fred's got the stun lock.
Can he get the rest of it?
No!
Fred takes a death on Ganon. jkoper has found his raft in 6. He still is on a coin flip on if the silvers are in 9.
And unfortunately, going back to 6 means that he still has to worry about a level 8 item. As a reverse, he would have found the red candle, known that the raft was in 6, and knew that the silvers were the second item in level 9.
Fred still has time, but the longer he spends on Ganon, the more time jkoper has to make the comeback, the unexpected comeback, but the comeback happened. Because we were not expecting coming into this series that it was going to be, in both cases, leaving level 9 was going to be a deciding factor.
A gamble of 9, oh my goodness, yeah. So Fred's going to make his way back. Now the other problem is that he's going to have to deal with that blue Dark Nut room again, leading into Ganon's fight there. So he's going to have to be extremely careful. Remember, a bop from a blue Dark Nut does 1/2 of a heart damage when he has the red ring. He is trying to kill these red Dark Nuts, or rather the blue Dark Nuts, because they are part of the health dropping group.
I don't think he kills the ones in this room, though.
No, he's not.
That would be a little too risky.
But he has to kill this room here. And if these are nice Dark Nuts, they're going to drop hearts. But unfortunately, he's in the wrong part of the global counter where he's getting rupees for the drop from them as opposed to hearts. There's a fairy drop. That is nice to see. 5.5 hearts for this second round against Ganon. Now Fred's going to have to calm himself down after that first death to Ganon.
But remember, with how close he got Ganon, he knows he just has to focus. He's got a stun lock so far.
3, 4, 5, and here's 6. We got 7 and 8 and 9 and 10 and 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. There is the stun lock on Ganon. But now Fred has got to figure out where she is. I think if he goes right back to that room to the left of the start, he is going to find her. And he is going in that direction. And that shutter door should open up. And there it does. And it is going to be Fred versus Jam in the championship. GG's to Fred.
Taking it with an official time of 1:08.05. And also of note, this is going to be a rematch from SGDQ earlier this year.
Oh, that is awesome. We are going to have a rematch between those two from their first match at SGDQ. So congratulations to Fred. He has now won this series 2-0.
And at the moment, Fred remains undefeated in this tournament.
Yes, he does. And as a result, he's going to be perhaps playing for one of these trophies. In fact, he's going to be perhaps playing for this bigger trophy a little bit later on.
Interesting that both seeds, in spite of how very different they were in packaging, came down to the very same decision.
Absolutely. the decision to leave level 9. And we see the finish here for jkoper. And we're going to go ahead and try to talk to these runners in just a few moments here. So stay tuned. We have more coming up in just a few moments. We'll get these runners over here, and we're going to talk to them in just a moment here on Speed Gaming. And welcome back here to SG Live, and we've got both of our runners here. Over to my right, we have jkoper, and to my left, we have, well, Elsoa, but to his left, we got fcoughlin. So GG to both of you guys. First, I'll talk to jkoper. What's your thoughts on this run?
I don't know. I feel like I played really well in both seeds and made good decisions, but I finished not having the silvers in either race, so that's just not a good feeling. So I don't know, pretty disappointed.
Unfortunately, in your case, it just came down to the fact that the silvers were in 9, and both times you found the opposite item, and you explored a little bit more than you ended up bailing.
Yeah, I mean, I found Ganon and Zelda and the first item both times, and I still had quite a bit of 9 left to explore, and it can take a long time, so I decided to check the other items. But I think Fred found everything both times, so that's no excuse on my part. As far as I'm concerned, I don't know.
I think what you just have to chalk this is unfortunate luck.
I guess so. I'm not sure. It's hard to say without watching it back or something like that. But
I mean, both of you ended up entering level 9 at both the same time. I mean, it was within seconds of each other. So it was, I would just definitely talk this down to unfortunate luck. Also,
Yeah, I mean, the gambles that you made going into 9 were good ones to make. You gambled on 6, which is the large dungeon. You found the Triforce 7, so it's like, okay, bail, go to 9. Those all made sense. And leaving 9 also made sense because you had everything there. It's just the luck wasn't there at the moment.
yeah, I don't know. But I mean, I just feel like I've spent a lot of time playing this game, like more than anyone basically, and I feel like I'm one of the best players. But every tournament I play in, best I've gotten is like tied for 7th or something, maybe tied for 5th once. I don't know, but so I don't know. I feel like I'm really letting myself down in these situations, but.
You are a fantastic player at this. You know, this game, especially once you get up to that high level, comes down to a lot of luck. You had, especially from, again, what they're saying, you found Ganon, you found Zelda, you found one item. You made the right play statistically. You had a 2/3 chance that it was outside of 9 without anything else on the table. And as you said, you're exploring, 40 rooms at that point, which is even a little bit bigger probably than that level 6 was. So, going back to 7, which you probably cleared a decent amount of, you got 6, that was definitely the right play. You've shown constantly in these tournaments that you make it far, and when it gets to the top, it really just comes down to those coin flips. And, as I said, you're a fantastic player, and, looking forward to seeing more of it coming on here.
Yeah, I think the second one ended up being 50-50 because the raft was outside
raft, of
and
course.
still left.
Yep.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know if I was really thinking about that. When I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, that's got to be outside of 9 yet. I was thinking about that in the first race. The fact that I had all of the items that couldn't be in 9 already.
Right.
But I mean, here it didn't matter because there were 2 locations outside of 9, so it was 50-50. And I mean, the math was still very similar anyway. So, but yeah, Fred and Jam are certainly very good players, and I'm sure they're gonna put on a great show again later this evening, or who knows when this is being restreamed and what the restream schedule might be. But for us, it's later this evening, so.
yeah, absolutely. We're going to try to get this on right after we're done with this here. We'll have that coming up in a little bit. First, we got SMW coming up soon here, as we've already got on our screen. Let's go ahead and talk to Fred here. One last thing I do want to say to jkoper is you definitely finished in 4th. You got yourself into the semifinalist position here, so you're definitely walking away with a little bit of prize money for this. So GG and congratulations to you.
Yeah, thanks. It was hardly like a slugfest to get there or anything, we didn't quite have a huge turnout for this, but you know, it's nice to come away with a little something, I guess.
Yeah, definitely taking away a little bit of the prize money of what is a 1,500 or rather a 1,400 prize pool is definitely nothing to sneeze at here. Let's go ahead and talk to Fred here really briefly. Congratulations on your win here. What did you think about your level of play here as you went through the early levels? You had really rough overworld on the first go around, and then in the second one you had, what was it, Lionel's and Wizrobes together. Oh my.
Oh, that was really nasty. On both of those seeds, I kept an eye out on I was keeping an eye on my money, because if I had had enough money, I was probably actually considering buying a blue ring just to try to make sure I survived, especially on the first seed with the start where it was. You know, it just was a bit of a nasty one, but, you know, was able to find red ring. And fortunately, the items, you know, chained together reasonably well to make it so we hopefully got to the end there.
Yes, I was, I'm not going to lie, I was over here rooting for the 5-chain reaction seed in Game 2.
He was trying to make us late for our train.
Clearly that's what the motive was, because y'all needed to stay down here longer. But it was interesting that in both seeds, the money wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great in the first seed, and then in the second seed it was like, here's 116, here's 40, here's a bunch of money.
Yeah.
So we were thinking that before red ring had been found, the blue ring was going to be a lot more of an option in Game 2, just because the money was a little bit better.
Yeah, and as I said, that was definitely on my mind in the blue one, especially seeing Wizrobes and stuff, you know, combined with yet another tough enemy there in the dungeons. It was a tough one, but, you know, got lucky. I found the red ring where I did and made that kind of a moot decision.
Now we move on to the finals. You play the person that you raised in SGDQ, Jam Eviler.
Jam is an incredible opponent. He has a knack just to feel the seed and make those right decisions, like, almost all the time. It's really hard to play against him. He has a very high level of combat. He's an incredibly tough player. So, you know, I'm just gonna play as best as I can, have some fun, and hope to try to even our overall record.
We'll see how it goes in the finals.
Absolutely.
Give it up for both of these runners, jkoper and fcoughlin. And we've got more here from SG Live in Herndon, Virginia, coming up in just a few moments here on Speed Gaming.